Hello, hello, hello. Oh my god.
Hello! Oh, you mute
Hello.
your stream.
What? Oh, you didn't mute my stream. Oh man,
Hello.
I'm so excited.
Same, but also nervous.
Same. I've been
all-
worrying about this all day.
We're all gonna learn things today.
Oh my god, we're gonna learn so much stuff today.
It's a very educational stream you have today, Sid.
It's very educational.
These are all the things that should be taught at your local university.
I should be a college professor.
You should.
Actually, we should all just be college professors. Let's just make our own college.
Absolutely. Brilliant idea.
The Twitch College.
Twitch College.
I think I was gonna nominate the Stratos College, and then we can go from there.
You could be the dean. Actually, no, Sid's the dean. You can be whatever's below a dean.
What's up, James?
Awesome.
Or Josefio? I actually don't know how to say your username. Josefio? I think it's Josefio. Josefio.
Some friend you are.
Alright, I should probably make sure I have this I have your stream open as well.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Josefio. You just ignore that E in your name?
That's a good idea. Let
Also,
me.
medic, hello.
Hello,
What's up,
guys.
man?
Thank you guys for the follows. I appreciate it.
Excited for this. So I'm genuinely
Oh my god. I've
really
been
great.
I've been doing my presentation too much. I was trying to type in Twitch and I typed in Tumblr.
Damn.
Oh shit, everybody's Jackie Fio.
Oh my god.
That's Josh, I think.
My little dude's on the screen. That's cool.
It is.
I realized this was a fake fan and wasn't following.
Aw, that's okay. That's okay. I still love you. Oh god, that's
You've
full
rated
screen.
him like 5 times you followed him.
I am genuinely excited.
All right.
Get us into this, Sid. What are we doing?
We are doing PowerPoints today. Everyone made a PowerPoint and we're all going to present it for you guys today.
What's the order we're going in?
We are doing, I have it written down here. We are doing Shu first, followed by Miguel, then Code, then me,
That's me.
then Sean, and then Muddish, who will be joining us in a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Currently sadly busy.
Yes.
I'm hyped.
Busy
Okay,
finishing their PowerPoint.
I am
Yes,
so
very
ready
last
for
minute.
You excited, Shu?
I'm
Hello, Alex.
excited. I am very confident in mine. It's only 12 slides. Takes me 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Great. I can probably just make it longer just by talking. I ramble.
All right, let me
Perfect.
go ahead
That's
and...
my strategy as well.
All right, are you ready to get started, Shu?
Yes.
All right, let me turn that on. Wrong window, apparently. There we go. There we go.
Hey.
All right. Do you see your slide?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, so welcome to, I want to say TED Talk, but this isn't what a TED Talk is. Welcome to my crappy presentation about my old movie/show crushes. This is a comparison between little me and me now. So get ready for a wild, funky, goofy ride. Next slide, please. Okay. So, this is a disclaimer to the chat. Chat, please bully me about these crushes. It will be funny. Lamau. Anyways. So, we all know, as children are, they tend to compare themselves to other characters from shows and movies. And oftentimes that leads to those children getting crushes that can never happen. So, that's what happened to me. Next slide, please. Okay. This is Jen. See? One sec, everything's going wrong.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
This is first crush This happened when I was 3, because I don't remember anything from when I was 1 to 2. This is like the only one I can remember from age 3. All I can remember as to why I liked this character was she was cool, she was fast, she was from an age-appropriate show I could watch 24/7. She was the first girl crush I've ever had. And this is my Gay Awakening Part 1. It's great. It's goofy. We're in a goofy mood right now. Next slide, please.
We're in a goofy mood right now.
Perfect.
So, next one. This is where we evolved a bit. Okay, we're reaching, age 4. It's rapidly coming. So, he's almost the world's perfect man. I mean, he has a dog. He has a chair. It's anything that you could want. The dog is freaking cool. Solid. I'd say solid crush. Solid. I respect little me. Next slide. This is where we start to evolve a bit more into what I like to call the I don't know what's going on anymore zone. This is where I'm starting to get a little bit of gay confusion. This is age 7, which is okay. Because later, I found out that I was gay, which is great. Anyway, goofy little goblin right here. Main character alert. I mean, look at those bright blue orbs. This is Gay Awakening Part 2. There's only 2 parts. Because the next character was just me fully understanding, hey, I'm a freaking gay person. I have the same personality as this character. I didn't rate any of the other any of the previous characters, but 6 out of 10. So I'd say solid. Next slide. So this is a special little goofy slide because I feel like this is just universal between anybody who's had a gay awakening before. Especially if it's you just realizing, oh yeah, this girl's pretty. This is Hermione Granger / Emma Watson. I mean, it's universal, I think. I mean, look at Emma Watson, dude. She's pretty.
Ma
she's
Watson.
Smart, she's talented. Emma Watson. Dude, I have a cold. Come on, I'm a little bit sick. It's fine. This is from ages, 8 to 9. I'd say it was a pretty okay crush. Do I regret it? Yes. Will we move on? Yes. Next slide.
You regret
Okay,
it.
so this is versus them now. Next slide. So, I plead the fifth. I don't want to explain.
Okay, understandable decision.
Specifically
Very
this
fair.
picture of Chris Evans.
I like this photo.
Is there a better picture out there?
I don't think so.
Probably
no,
not, yeah.
This is the only good picture out there of Chris Evans. I don't want to explain further. I shouldn't have to explain further. Next slide. Okay. So now we're getting into the actual mentally ill gay person's, mind state. Mental state, not mind state. Those are, I can't speak. So this is Wanda Maximoff / Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, they're both pretty, they're both funny. And hey, I love a girl who has issues. I mean, same bestie, same. Next slide. So, in conclusion, having parental issues has caused me to go after fictional characters that are twice my age. That is all. Next slide. The end.
Excellent.
Perfect presentation.
Love it.
Discord isn't picking up my class, but I'm clapping.
I'm also clapping. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can hear it.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
I'm sure that's a perfect lead into the next slideshow. Are you taking questions?
Are we taking questions? I don't know.
Are you taking questions? We can take questions. Yeah, we can take questions.
Yeah, we can take questions. I don't mind.
You regret Hermione Granger?
Kinda. I mean, kinda.
Because You know, I'm on that board with you. She wasn't a gay awakening for me, but I don't regret it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think little me just had a little bit of a confusion there. I don't know, man. She was okay.
You just wanted her to correct you.
Yeah, that's I'm a little bit
Wow.
dumb. That's the only reason I have my partner with me, dude. It's just for
Hannah in chat asked if you had one of these crushes if you had to have one of these crushes die, which one?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good
Oh, crap.
question. Let me just quickly go ahead and say, oh, that is a hard question. I would probably say Rainbow Dash, just because I don't remember.
Because you
any
need
of it.
glue. I understand.
It's only because I don't remember like any memories of me liking this.
That's fair. I used to love Rainbow Dash.
R.I.P.
Dash is great.
Dash.
Great.
All
Perfect.
right. Any
Well,
other?
great slideshow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Crap, why am I having frame drops?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Too much going on the computer.
It shouldn't be too much. I'm dumb.
Oh no.
Well, no one on my end is complaining about them, so I guess it's fine.
Okay.
The
Huh.
slideshows were going by too fast.
Maybe that was it, yeah.
It was that picture of Chris Evans.
Probably.
Too powerful for the stream.
Just crashing everything.
Powerful. Powerful, dude.
All right. Do we have any other questions?
No.
All right.
I don't think we do.
Cool. Are you ready, Miguel?
Yeah, let me share. Hold
Cool.
on. Is this good?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I could.
Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation here. So, before I get into what this is actually about, I gotta go into some history here with
Okay.
with me and my my childhood here. So we can start.
Okay.
Let's go. All right. So, one of the things that I remember as a child that I really loved doing is that every Friday, my mom would take my sister and I to Blockbuster. She would let us rent some movies, and then we would go to Little Caesars and get some pizza. I wish Blockbuster was still around. There's
Dark time.
something really nice about just being able to browse all these movies and going up and down all the different sections of like movie genres and everything and picking out a movie. And then you could also buy individual bags of popcorn at checkout, which is pretty sick. You can't really do that anywhere else, I think. And then Little Caesars, it's at the time, if you wanted a large pizza, it was not hot and ready. It did not cost $5.30. You had to wait some time for them to make the pizza for you, which that's gonna factor in a few slides here. But also a side note: these pictures of Little Caesars that I have are relatively new. It is very difficult to find pictures of what Little Caesars looked like before hot and ready's were a thing. I don't know why. It's like the closest thing I could find was a picture of this thing they used to have called like the meter pizza, which is basically like a square pizza but like long. I don't know what that was about.
I've never heard of that before.
It's really
Same.
weird. I've never heard of it either. So another kind of memory that's that I really kind of cherish that's also pizza related is right here we got Pizza Hut, and you could be a part of this Book It program where if you read books at school, at your school, and you read a certain number of books, they'd give you a certificate for a free pan pizza. And I I read books fast, so that way I could get the certificates, so I would be able to get the free pizza. And right down here, you can see there's an example of a book. One of the books I read. This is Dracula, but this brand of books here, Great Illustrated Classics, basically took classic books, air quotation mark, and made them suitable for children, I guess. So it's like you get like a few pages of text, and then you get like a big old picture of what's happening. I don't remember anything from this book, but I picked it because I like vampires, and the cover I think is pretty cool. Another side note here thing that you can see is that I remember Pizza Hut tasting better when I was a kid. When I buy it every like few months now to see if like maybe I'll like it this time. I'm never as like satisfied with it as I used to be, though the breadsticks are still crazy delicious. I will only go and get breadsticks from Pizza Hut sometimes. At one of my old jobs, there was a Pizza Hut like a few feet down, and I would go and I would just eat breadsticks on my shift all day, and it was pretty great. Hell yeah. So the one thing, going back a little bit about Little Caesars and Pizza Hut here, like I said, there was no hot and ready, so you had to wait if you wanted a large pizza. A lot of the times my mom would just buy us individual slices, because you could still do that at Little Caesars. They'd give you like a little triangle shaped box, so you can like put a slice in there. But Fridays were special. We get a whole pizza and we'd have to wait for the pizza. And then also Pizza Hut, you gotta wait for the pizza too. You're sitting down at this very nice lobby here, pictured bottom left. My mom would go to the salad bar and wait for breadsticks. So you needed something to do while you were waiting for your pizza. And something that both of these places had in common is that they both had arcade machines. So the Little Caesars had the Marvel vs. Capcom machine, and then the Pizza Hut had Tekken 3. At the time when I frequently played these, I had no idea how to play video games, really. I would just go put my quarter in and just make the characters move around and do whatever. I'm pretty sure I lost all the time, but it was fun regardless. I'm like, bright colors, all these things look cool. What's happening on the screen, pretty sick. And this is where my journey kind of starts in fighting video games. So for a while, this is the only way that I play these games. It's just waiting for pizza. And then finally, I get my own system, and we have the Sega Genesis. And I was super excited when I first got this. Over here on the left, it's pretty much my exact setup that I have. So at the top, I know there's different versions of the Sega Genesis. This is the one that I had with the same controller. But then I also got the arcade stick, which is pictured underneath it, which is pretty awesome. It had like all these buttons and stuff where you could control like which ones are active at the moment, which ones are not. There was a speed thing at the very top. I never knew what that thing did, but I would just mess with it. I never really saw any difference in like my gameplay, but I still thought it was sick. And I had 7 games for this system. 4 of them are pictured over here on the right. So top left, we have this Power Rangers fighting game. Pretty cool. It used to take me forever to beat it when I was a kid, but now when I've gone back and played it, it's super easy. We have next to it, we have the X-Men game, which is kind of like a beat 'em up platformer type of game, I would say. Note here, Nightcrawler was my favorite because he could phase through walls, and when he does it, he turns like purple and he makes like a fart noise when he does it. So you would be stuck at a wall, and then suddenly you hit the teleport button, and it'd go, and then just like transport you to the other side. And then last 2 games down here, we have these Sonic games. On the left, Sonic and Knuckles, and then Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And the cool thing about this is that the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, that top part actually flips open, and you can put a Sonic game on top of that cartridge. And I believe what it does is it puts Knuckles in the game that you're playing. So I believe you could have Knuckles and Sonic through any other Sega Genesis game. Unfortunately, I lost the. I still have all of these except the Sonic and Knuckles one. I don't know where that one's at. Possibly like the coolest one I lost. And then also with the arcade stick, I've lost the arcade stick. I have no idea where it's at. I don't know if it got tossed out or if it's like in my shed. I might try and look for it and see if I can find it. But there's still 3 games I haven't talked about. These 3 games are the games that I would play the most out of all of these. These are games I obsessed over when I had this thing. And these are the Mortal Kombat games. So we have at the top 1, 2, and then we have Mortal Kombat Ultimate 3. I did have 3 as well, but Ultimate 3 is just a better version. So why play that one when you got the better one, right? And then Ultimate 3 is my favorite one. We got screenshots of the game down here. We have Scorpion fighting Reptile in this really cool stage here. One of the cool things about the stage is like this one. If you would uppercut people in certain stages, it like blasts them through the ceiling, and then suddenly you're in another stage. And something that I didn't realize actually, in the right side, if you get uppercut in this bottom lava stage, you end up in the stage that's next to it. And I completely did that by accident. And then we have Sector here, about to grind up Ermac into bits with his fatality. And then next we have Nightwolf here, which is the character I played when I always played that game. He's pretty cool. He's got a fiery axe that like has green stuff on it. I presume it's like ghost energy. And at the same time, I really got into the movie, which is still awesome.
Oh yeah,
Still a great movie. We have some screenshots here from the movie. This cool scene with Sub-Zero and Liu Kang. This is my header on Twitter for the longest time. And then we have Kano about to have his life ended by Sonya's thighs. And then another thing here, the soundtrack is amazing. If you like electronic EDM industrial music, I recommend you go listen to it. It's great. I will still listen to it in the car sometimes when I hype myself up. It's not on Spotify, but if you go on YouTube, people put together like playlists and you can listen to it that way. It's pretty sick. So this is the game that kind of had me for this time, and then with a lot of things you kind of lose interest and whatnot. But finally, it's time for me to get a new system. And then the next game system I got here is the PS1.
Nice.
hell
right
yeah.
here. So that one of my favorite things, I don't tend to feel nostalgia a lot of the times, but in the left here we have the main screen for when you play any PS1 games, and then the sound of this, it's like totally like brings me back every time I like play one of these games. It's great. Again, what's pictured here is what I had. At the bottom we had I believe this is the first generation PS1 with the DualShock controller, which I think is the best controller ever. It vibrates, which is pretty sick. So when stuff's happening in the game, your thing is just moving around, and that's pretty cool. Then up here we have the Piranha Pad, which is garbage, just straight up trash. Just some points here about this this controller. It feels awkward in your hand. It looks like the handles are like made in a weird position. They're too pointy, and it gets really uncomfortable when you're playing for too long. It feels cheap. You can it feels like you can snap it when it's in your hand. It's terrible. The cord is thick in the worst possible way. So with the DualShock controller, if you were to roll up the cable into the controller and then unroll it, it just kind of goes back to being just a flat cable. With the Piranha Pad here, it just kind of stays in the same kind of it's just very. There's a word I'm thinking. It's just a very thick, bad cable. It's not good. It's terrible. Rest in peace.
Thick with a K, not 2 C's.
Yes, thick with the K.
The bad kind, exactly.
Exactly. Rest in piss, controller. I hate you. And then again, we have some selection of games here that I got. Tomb Raider is a good game. WWF Warzone was a decent game. I never got the hang of the system, but it was still fun to play. This Jurassic Park game is a game where dinosaurs fight each other. I remember when I first got the PS1, I was in Tennessee visiting uncles, and they bought it for me. And they were so entertained by this Jurassic Park game. I remember I got to play it once, and then after that, I just watched them because they kept passing the controller around to each other. They were just so entertained by watching like a T-Rex, like a beat up of Velociraptor. It's hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Pretty sweet. And then we have these Spec Ops games, which are trash. I hear that Spec Ops The Line game is good, but these PS1, I have like 5 of these Spec Ops games, and they're all bad. I don't know why they kept buying them for me. I wish I had like vocalized that I did not like them, so I'd get better games. But you know, that's your life. And then with the PS1 came 2 games in particular that I really loved. Yes, Sean, you got it. And then Tekken's the first one, and here I want to show you the intro to the game. Because I remember when I first popped this game in and I saw this intro, it got me so hyped to play the game. So I hope it's not too loud. I'm gonna kind of put the volume halfway.
I'll destroy my ears.
Yeah,
Let's
so
go.
we're gonna experience this together.
This is suspenseful. I know that cliff. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, the hair.
It's got like spaghetti hair. Damn, that was 2 minutes? That didn't feel like 2 minutes at all.
Oh wow.
Hell yeah.
Miguel?
Yeah, Miguel, where'd you go?
Hello?
Did you mute yourself by accident or something?
I did mute myself.
We're just sitting here. Miguel was like, I thought you were like breaking down in tears or something. Like, you're like, oh man, the nostalgia.
I was actually crying. I didn't want anyone to hear me. I mute myself on my headphones, not on Discord. It always gets me. All right,
Miguel,
I'm not gonna.
do you show the Kazuya face?
No, I don't. I should have.
That's all I can think of when I see these graphics.
I think that's Tekken 1.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this is one of the 2 games I played the most on this thing. King was my favorite character in here because he's a cool jaguar who does wrestling moves, and also the boy had the motherfucking drip over here. He's got like some sweet like Nike Air Maxes. He's got the cool shirt. He's got the watch. He's got the cool like track sweatpants. The characters in this game are something else. Of course, at the time, you think this shit looks cool, but then when you kind of look back on it, you're like, yeah, this is what games looked like back then. The character select screen music was pretty good too. This game had a lot of good music, which is one of the things I really like about fighting games, just in general. They went hard on their soundtracks, and of course, you have you're fighting people. You need a soundtrack that's going to match that. So I don't think there's too much in this slide here. Just some cool art. You can see all the characters down there, all the playable characters. At the end of the intro there, you saw a bunch of people kind of flashing by fast. I think those are all the characters you can unlock. You got the start screen here. So we got this game, but then there was another game that kind of surpassed this one. At this point, I'm a kid, and I'm like, this is the best game ever. There's nothing that can be better than this. And then something else comes up, and like my mind is blown, and I'm like, what? This is impossible. The video games. I looked at this video game, and I thought video games cannot get any better than this. This is like the pinnacle. These graphics, everything about this is perfect. But then I got another game, and then we're gonna watch the intro for this one as well.
Hell yeah.
This is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
I don't know if code can be here. It said US and Canada only.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Straight to the point. I mean,
Did that
honestly.
say, did that say brave or grave?
I think it might have. Because you
pretty
either
intense.
fight or you die. And that's the thing. So Street Fighter Alpha 3, also called Street Fighter 03 in Japan. This game's art style, I think, is by far my favorite in any game that I've ever played. I think the sprites in this game look awesome. A lot of the characters in this game are like this is how I prefer them to look. This is like, I think, chef's kiss top quality. The stages are also amazing. You can see on some of them back here, super detailed and super cool. We have another cool thing we have is the win quotes that you get at the end. Over here, it's like a continue screen, and we have Karen over here, Corin, making fun of you, wanting you to put another quarter into the machine, so that way she can beat you again and take your money. And then again, the roster, pretty sick. You have classic Street Fighter characters, but then you got like some new people, like Rose, and then you have people from other games too, Cody, and then I think Nash is his name, Guy from other Capcom fighting games. But this game, really, what it contributed the most, besides my love for these types of games, is it gave me a character that I could latch on for the rest of my life, basically. And the Alpha or the Zero series of games, which is 3 in this whole like Street Fighter thing, introduced her. She was a new character in these games. And if you can look at my profile picture on Discord right now, I don't think it's any secret that it's Sakura, who is my fave here. As a kid, I loved her character design. I always thought it was so cool. She's in high school when this game takes place, but I just like the idea of her loving fighting so much that she just goes to school wearing like this headband and just always has her gloves with her, ready to beat somebody up. Her moves are pretty sick. People like I guess to kind of diss her, just kind of say she's a female Ryu, which she does share similar moves. But what I like is that they incorporate that into some of her other moves. Like so Sakura is not a classically trained martial artist. She is obsessed with Ryu and watched videotapes of him and learned how to fight his style just by watching him and practicing.
Damn.
Which, with
Ah,
how strong she is pretty impressive. And one of the things I like is that one of her specials in this move is a tornado kick, just like Ryu. But because she can't get it down right, it's actually like a crouching tornado kick, but it does just as much damage as like the tornado kick does, which I think is pretty sick. And you got her over here posing with their favorite person in the world, and I can just identify somebody uh who has an obsession over somebody and they like want to be like them and stuff. Um, she
Oh.
she's one of those characters where you look at her and then you're just like, wow, she's just like me, just obsessed over someone and just excited about life. She's pretty great. And then anytime there's a new Street Fighter game, whether I play the game a lot or don't, she's always the first character I pick out to try out. She's awesome, and I love her so much, and I hope she's in every game going forward. So this is where this part of the PowerPoint ends. So you kind of know my history here with it. At this point, I don't really play many fighting games just because I get an Xbox and then I get PS3, and then when I got the Xbox, I got Halo with the game with the thing, and that I pretty much just always just played Halo. And in the PS3, I got some fighting games, but I kind of dipped off of it for a little bit, and then it's not until super recent that I start to pick back up in it. I got a new PC. I can play newer games now, so I can play games I missed out on. But the one thing I wanted to do is just get back into playing fighting games. And I think everyone should have a chance to play at least one of these games. I feel like it's diverse enough where you can find something that fits you. And so I'm going to tell you how I got back into playing them, and it can kind of serve as a method if you want to go and try out something. So I believe the first thing we have to do is we have to pick a game that we like. I believe the next slide's going to be that. Yeah, so the newest game that I have chosen to kind of learn and do is Guilty Gear Strive, which Guilty Gear at this point is an old franchise. I believe they have games that go back to the 90s. I first started playing Tekken 7 because at the time it was on sale. I didn't really have too much money to spend. And so I played that for a little bit. And then the one hard thing about Tekken, especially if you play online, is that people who are obsessed over this game have been playing since Tekken 2 and Tekken 3, and the moves do not change. So can you imagine someone who's been playing this game since the 90s has that much time to be that good at it now if they've committed themselves? So I would go online. I get bodied all the time. I still had fun, but I got a little frustrated. And also the fighting, the game kind of style and things, it just didn't really mesh with me. It's more of a grounded game, and I like jumping around and stuff. So we have Guilty Gear Strive here. I think the game just looks amazing. It has like all these cool looking characters. The music is amazing. You have sick moves that you could do, and also this game has rollback netcode, which to kind of just explain it really quickly, when you're playing online, if you're just like Tekken 7, if you're playing with somebody and they have bad connection, it lags really bad, so then the game gets slow and everything. Rollback netcode kind of predicts the move, so that way it doesn't slow the game down too much, and you still kind of had a smooth experience playing it. I can't tell you how many times I was playing Tekken 7 and then like the game slows down, and then that just causes me to lose. At least with Guilty Gear, I've never experienced anything like that before. It always seems really smooth to me, and it's a great game. If you're gonna go and pick one, I would suggest this one. This one's pretty cool. It doesn't have too many of course, with every fighting game, you have characters that are super complex to learn, but then this game also has a lot of simple characters that you can learn. There aren't too many moves to master. Once you learn like 2 or 3 good moves, I think that should be enough to carry you, and then you can just kind of learn from there. So, next thing, once you have a game picked out, you got to figure out how you're going to play it, and by that I mean what you're going to use to play it. So you have so many options when it comes to playing fighting games. You have the arcade stick, which is I think the coolest way to play. You don't really have to play that way. The thing that I can say about something like this is play with what you're comfortable with. I bought an arcade stick because I wanted to learn how to play it. If I wanted to if I was immediately going to go out and go to tournaments and try and win money doing this, I would play on just a regular controller because that's what I'm used to. But I'm not doing that, so I have time to learn how to do it because I like the idea of having an arcade stick, which we'll get to in a little bit. If you're playing Smash, you can use one of these on the other side. You have the GameCube controller, the Nintendo Switch, and then I added the Joy-Cons at last minute here because I saw a video of some kid at a tournament playing with Joy-Cons. I don't know if you've seen that video, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
He's just standing there going wild with them, and he's just standing in front of everybody. It was really sick, and I wish people played like that more often because I think it's more entertaining.
There's also a thing of playing Kazuya with one joystick is apparently really good. Yeah.
Nice. And then some more weirder options we have. We have the hitbox kind of over here on the right side, which no joystick or lever or anything, just a bunch of buttons. Apparently this is a really efficient way to play. But then also we have at the bottom left-hand corner this weird thing, which basically is just keyboard keys. That works too. I've seen somebody play with this on YouTube, and they were backdashing and Tekken like it was nothing. Like, it was insane. So if that's something you want to do, you can pick that. My personal preference, though, is I like the arcade stick, and there are several reasons why. This one at the top left is the one that I have currently, the Mayflash F300. And one of the things I love about the arcade stick is that it is customizable as hell. Mine still looks like the one in the picture. At some point, I'm going to get in there and change it. If you go on YouTube and find videos on how to change these parts, it's super simple. And then once you got it down, you can just do it yourself. Like, it's no problem. And to kind of break down the most essential parts of these things, besides like the case and the board, you have the buttons on the bottom left-hand corner here. You can change them so they're whatever color you'd like. You know, that's something you can do. But then also, you can get buttons that are louder if you like clicky buttons, or some people prefer really, really quiet buttons. Because when you play these games at a high level, there are some people who, if they hear what buttons you're pressing in a certain sequence, they know what you're going to do, and they can predict your movements, and they can block you accordingly. I've seen videos of people when they're at tournaments who have their arcade stick on their lap, and they have their hoodie covering their lap because they want to muffle the sound, or they don't want anyone to see what they're doing. So that's with the buttons. The levers and the lever gates that go underneath the levers, I'm going to cover here together. So on the left side of this picture with the levers, we have kind of the longer one. That's a Korean style lever. And then on the left side, on the right side with the ball top here, that's a Japanese style. Mostly named like that because the left is found in Korean arcades and the right's in Japanese arcades. The gates under here are pretty important depending on which game you play. So at the top, we have the circle gate. At the bottom right, we have the kind of octagon gate. And then the left, we have the square gate. Now, with the circle gate, if you're playing a 2D fighting game, something like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, a lot of the moves require you to do circular movements with the stick. Half circles, full circles, things like that. The circle gate's really good for that. You can just kind of ride around the gate and you can get that perfect circle all the time. If you play something that's like a 3D fighter, like Virtual Fighter or Tekken, you can also sidestep people, and a lot of the movements in those are sharp, going to the corners, which is what the square gate's really good for. And if you like to alternate between the two, then the octagon here is the best one because you're getting the sharp corners, but then you're also getting the circular movement. And then one other thing about the levers that some people have pointed out, if you're playing like a 2D fighting game, the Japanese lever is good because you can grip on the ball top and then you can do your circles pretty good. And then for the Korean lever, primarily for Tekken, you can just kind of have your hand on it and you can just kind of push it really fast. So you can do your back dashes really quick, and then so you can sidestep people uh, really fast. So I think it's really amazing how like in depth you can get with this. As a kid, I just thought you just buy one and then that's it. But you can get super in this thing, go in its guts, and just change it up and make it so it plays exactly how you want it. Um, and then it is so customizable that people get very creative with these things. Really, all you need to make a good stick, I think, is these main parts down here, which is I'm gonna show you some examples of some sticks that some people have made.
Huh?
People get creative with these things, so
I like the Pizza
kinda
Hut one.
yeah, we
Yeah, I
have
was
a full
about to point that
spectrum
out.
here.
Oh my god.
So we'll start here at the top right. This is my controller, not like the one I own, but this is the same model. But you can see it doesn't look like that anymore. Someone has customized it to be a Seinfeld controller. They changed out the buttons, changed out the lever. They put a new thing on the top. You can really show off what you like, and you're like pretty much tell everyone, hey, look at me, I love Seinfeld, when you go to your local FGC meetups, and I guess it's a good way to make friends, right? Um, you can find people who like Seinfeld, or you can find people who love Taylor Swift. Bottom left down here, we have a PlayStation arcade stick that someone has customized to have T-Sway on it. Pretty sick. To find other Taylor Swift fans around you. The box ones are the ones that are interesting here, I think, is because it really shows you that as long as you have the lever and you have the buttons, you're good. Doesn't matter if it's a shoebox. I'm guessing this
Shoe?
person.
It's my
Yeah.
home. Do
Yeah.
it.
Someone bought a pair of Nike Dunks and they looked at the box and they thought I could probably make a controller out of this. And they did it. And kind of sticking with the pizza theme, we have the Pizza Hut arcade stick. Also, very, very convenient if you want to switch things out. You don't have to get any screws and like take them out or do anything like that. You just lift the thing up and everything's right there for you to change. One of my
Nice.
personal favorites is the middle one down here. So this person took parts from a Fender Jaguar, what I'm thinking is, and just decided to make some weird guitar controller. We have the very nice sunburst color, which I think is like a very iconic color for Fender Jaguars. They got the nice pick guard where the buttons are, and then they got the tone switches at the top. I don't know if they do anything. I think it'd be sick if they did. I think that thing's really cool. And then lastly, this one just confused me. I wanted to include it in here. I don't know. This must have like, I don't know the insides of a typewriter very well. When I see this, it just makes me think of how difficult it must be to wire this thing. Also, how heavy this thing must be to carry around with you. This must be like a thing that you only play with at home. Good on you, or good on the person if they actually take it with them to events and they're just there sounding like they're typing out The Great Gatsby while they're doing their combos. Like, pretty, I think it's pretty neat. So we have your game, we have your controller. Next thing you need to do, and I think the final thing, is you need to pick the character that you're gonna spend your time learning. You can definitely learn other characters, learn as many as you want, but I think it's important to have one character that is your character that you're gonna play. Guilty Gear, I first got the game, I tried out a few characters. I had one that I was kind of playing. They weren't it was going okay, but then there was a DLC that was coming out, and there was one character in that DLC that really caught my eye, that I thought was the coolest, and that's the character that I play now. and it's a bike in here, which is this really awesome samurai character who's got one arm. She's got this cool kimono. Got the big hair, which I think is pretty sweet. Got like this eye patch thing covering her eye. Got scars on her face. Just a sick character in general. And then also, I think their moves are pretty sick as well. Again, one of the characters I tried learning was in the middle slide down here. We have this person getting grabbed by Baiken, Happy Chaos, the character that uses a gun. I'm absolutely trash at learning characters who have like ranged weapons like this. I did so bad. I tried to learn it so hard, but I just couldn't. I'm glad this character came through, but because not only do they look sick, but their play style like kind of benefits me here. So, with all that, you got everything you need. You got your controller, you got your game, you got your character, you learn your moves, and then the last thing you need to do is just need to go out there and do the damn thing. You play online. Once if you feel comfortable going out and meeting new people, you go out and then you just play with them, and it's a fun time. All these people are playing the same game. They're all playing Melty Blood, which is like this anime fighting game. I don't know what's up. I don't know where this meme started, but people play this game in the bathroom.
One of these is not like the others, and it makes me worried about what that basement's used for.
Oh yeah, that basement. I forget where this is. This is somewhere in Europe, I think. But it's got
they
the
don't
same
have
spirit,
they don't
I
have
think.
bathrooms in Europe.
Very
Right, Code?
concerned.
Yeah, no bathrooms at all. No, nowhere.
But yeah, it's like I love these games. You go out there, try one. I don't think it. Find whichever one you think you'd like. They can be very expensive, like games are. So I'm not gonna say pirate or anything, but if you look up Fightcade and you look up what that is, that's a good way to play these games and older games too. While I was doing this, I found my copy of Street Fighter Alpha 3, and my PS3 still works, and thank the Lord that thing is backwards compatible, so I might play that at some point in the next week or so. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I wonder if I should play a game, because I was planning on it.
I think your presentation went a little over.
You think it went a little over? Okay,
think
I clocked
so.
myself at like 40 minutes. How long did I go for?
I don't know. I think it was about 40 minutes.
It was about 40 minutes? Okay.
Might be accurate. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yay.
Is my clap going through? I can't.
Yes.
Yay.
One thing I'll say I learned from your presentation, if not anything else, is that I never realized that King wore dad shoes in Tekken.
Those are not dad shoes, my dude.
They're dad shoes.
No, they are not. You just
Yes,
have
they
no
are.
style. That's what it is.
I hate to break it to an entire community, but Air Force Jordans are dad shoes. Just to put that out there.
You're right. You're right. You don't need to apologize. You're right.
All right. Do we have any questions?
Any questions?
Any questions from the chat?
Oh no.
All right.
Close up my window.
I'm just seeing overwhelming claps, so I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
I
is
think you
clapping.
did a good job expling everying.
Oh,
Thank you. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't want to over-explain, but like some of the stuff I'm like,
Yeah.
The question Miguel posed by James is: if you had to kill one of your games from existence, which would it be?
which would it be?
Yeah, what fighting game between all
Oh.
those?
Mortal Kombat 1, probably. Actually, no. Mortal Kombat 2.
I'm not gonna do this. You have to destroy an entire franchise.
Oh, entire franchise?
Yeah, I'm gonna make this hard on you.
I'll do Tekken.
Tekken, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I love Guilty Gear, and Street Fighter is great. But I was thinking Mortal Kombat, but I think Mortal Kombat, if anyone's gonna go play a game, that's probably the best one to start off with, because I think that game is so much, especially the newer ones, it's so much fun to play with a group of friends. Because I remember that Sean and I played at a friend's house, and it was when I think, was it 10 or was it 9 that came out? But it was the one that had the
It was 9.
Was it 9? The one it just
Yeah.
had, it came out with a thing where if you punch somebody, it would do the X-rays to show you how you were like getting them. And I remember, yeah, I remember every time somebody hit that, we got hype. I got so hyped, and it was like a fun time. Somebody got mad, obviously. I won't say who, but Sean knows who got mad.
Yeah, they got mad because they actually took the game seriously. So when they lost people who were mashing, they got upset.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, and you can win these games if you mash. You know, I had a
Especially
friend.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I had a friend who I invited over from high school. I was like, "Hey, come play this game with me." And we were playing Alpha 3 actually. She picked Ryu, and then after like messing around with the controls for like a minute, she immediately learned how to do like Fireball and started just like spamming it on me. But she had a good time, and that's all that matters. Have a good time when playing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Most important thing.
Most
All right.
important thing.
So next up, we have Code.
That would be me. Hang on just 1 second. I quickly gotta change. Get everything set up here.
Sounds good.
Code is going to recite the Iliad for us. Oh god!
Oh shit!
Whoa!
Oh, that's so cool.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh
Right,
gosh.
let me... Hang on, where do I have it? There it is. Now I just gotta quickly send that over.
What do we got?
Share. Where do we have it? There it is.
You're scaring the chat, Code.
Am I? Hmm.
Oh, hell yeah.
As I should be.
Oh, this is sick.
All right.
God.
So, this is gonna be my quick presentation here about Danganronpa, which is a franchise I very much adore. In fact, I recently started playing one of the Danganronpa games on my channel, but it's a spin-off. The thing is that a lot of people apparently have little to no idea what these characters are even about and everything, which is one of the reasons why I thought, hey, this would be a good thing to jump into. So, here we go. What I will be talking about today is, first of all, the premise of the original game series, then the order in which the game / anime / everything takes place, the overall world and story, characters, of course, and I'll talk a little bit about the future of the franchise. Now, I will, the beginning part of this will be spoiler-free entirely. So I encourage everyone who wants to get into the franchise to just get a little bit of a feel for this, and I'll talk about when I get into slight spoiler territory, and if people want to experience it for themselves, that would be the time to leave, or to tune out, or do whatever, basically. So, yeah, with that being said, let's get to it. So, first of all, the premise of this franchise. You basically have a bunch of people with very specific talents, in which they are the very best in the world. So you have, for example, you are the world's best poet or something. That would basically make you the ultimate poet, which would be then your official title. The thing is, there is this, and these talented people are basically all high schoolers. That's the thing. The very best at whatever they do, every single one of them is a high schooler. Don't ask how that works, it's just how it is. And these talented individuals are trapped in a closed environment. And basically, the rules that are put on them are, if you want to leave this environment, you have to kill someone, anyone else among the group, and you have to get away with murder. So basically, if you kill someone but people find out, didn't work. And it's not just that you don't get to leave, because that's the whole thing about the class trials. So a class trial is basically where every one of the surviving students gets together, and they all debate on who they think is responsible for the most recent murder. And if they find out who did it, then the murderer is executed, and everyone else continues their school life until another killing happens. But if they don't find out who did it, then the one who killed someone will get to leave as per the agreement, but all the other surviving students get executed. So basically it's one of those only one can survive kind of deals. Your typical battle royale, but with more mystery. And beyond all that, there's also always an underlying mystery that you get closer to solving as the game progresses. Which, again, that is potential spoiler territory when we get into that, but for right now, that's basically the basic premise of the games. So here we go, the order. This is where it sometimes gets a bit complicated, because a lot of people are unsure of how this stuff works, especially when it comes to the anime. So Starting with Danganronpa 1, the original game. Now, this game also did receive an anime adaptation, but one thing I can tell you about that is it's just bad. I mean, it's not bad as a standalone anime, but compared to the game, it's bad. They cut a lot of stuff out, a lot of missing content as to be expected if you shorten a massive game into like 10 episodes of anime. Plus, they didn't even get the same voice actors from the games, so it's a little bit stupid. And I made the mistake when I started of starting with the anime, because a friend of mine just recommended the anime to me without context. Horrible mistake, and I encourage everyone who's interested in the franchise to start with the first game. Naturally, after the first game comes the second game, so far. Makes sense. And this is where people get confused, because a lot of people think that after the second one, you immediately jump into V3. But that's not how this works. V3 is much later on in the franchise. But the reason people think that is because 1, 2, and V3 are usually packed together in like bundles, because those are the 3 main killing games that share the premise I talked about earlier. But there's a lot of plot that happens in between them, which is, for one, Ultra Despair Girls, which takes a whole different approach. It's basically exploring you're not even in a closed environment, you only have 2 characters that really are your protagonists. It's a lot different from the main series, which is why a lot of people are unsure about whether or not they should even play it, but it is still very much canon and relevant. And then comes the anime, probably the most confusing part of this all. Because Danganronpa 3, which is split into 3 different arcs, and they're structured kind of annoyingly to watch, because when it comes to Danganronpa 3, the two arcs that are the most confusing are the Future arc and the Despair arc, because you have to constantly alternate the episodes, starting with Future arc, then Despair arc, then Future arc, Despair arc, until you're all the way through, which, again, they couldn't have just cleanly made the 2 arcs separate. Would have been too easy. The Hope arc basically serves as the conclusion to that, and 2.5 is a little bit of a bonus, but I definitely do not recommend watching 2.5 before seeing the conclusion of 3, because otherwise that's a massive, massive spoiler in there. And then, finally, after all of that comes V3, which is basically opening a whole new different chapter in the story. There are some callbacks to everything before, which is why I recommend checking out the stuff in between, but technically it's a whole new chapter in the franchise. But naturally, the play and watch order is completely different from the chronological order. Again, getting more confusing. Let's check that out. The chronological order starts all the way with 3, specifically the Despair arc, that takes place before everything else. Followed by 1 and 2, except that UDG takes place in between them. Now, some people might consider this kind of spoilery if I talk about chronological order, but it's really not. It's really not. You figure that kind of stuff out like 1 minute into each game, usually. 2.5, naturally, after 2, that makes sense in this order. And then the Future and Hope arc, leading again into V3, which is at the end because it's a whole new part of the story. So, now that we're done with the order, let's get into the actual story, which is where it can get slightly spoilery, so you have been warned. So, this all takes place, basically it starts at least, with Hope's Peak Academy, which is the school where all these high schoolers go to. The school scouts talented students, like you can't apply to this. The school actively looks for people who they think deserve an ultimate title and invites them into the school. And basically, if we graduate from the school, you basically are guaranteed success for later in life, so you're good to go, which is why basically no one refuses it, no matter how talented they are. But this is where everything begins to go to shit. Because there is this certain group of people that call themselves the Ultimate Despair. And basically their whole objective is to spread despair to the world, make everyone fall into despair. They even enjoy the feeling of despair themselves, which is why you can't really stop them. And this group is led by one person in particular, who is known as the True Ultimate Despair. And they kind of command everyone below them. These people are known as the Remnants, by the way. And they basically cause the apocalypse. Again, because they're an ultimate, you can kind of tell, just a high school student with a group of other high school students, and these people caused the apocalypse for some reason, which in the story is called the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Overly long title, I don't know why they chose it, probably to make the significance more clear. And this big event starts basically with a mass suicide. So this academy, Hope's Peak Academy, has a reserve department as well. In this reserve department, you have basically regular students who are no ultimates, they have no title, they just go to the school because of the school's name, because everyone's familiar with the school's name and its popularity. So, they go to this school, into the reserve department, and this reserve department is extremely expensive and basically only exists to provide Hope's Peak with enough revenue to keep going. That's all it's there for. Not only is the tuition expensive, just the exam fees, everything. So you have to be basically rich if you want to get accepted into the reserve department. And every single student of the reserve department, with only one exception, all committed mass suicide one day. Because of the ultimate despair. Which, gotta say, tragic but impressive. And this whole thing then leads to, as I said, basically it spirals out of control, causing the apocalypse. More and more people fall to despair. The entire world basically complete anarchy. But among this anarchy, the Future Foundation shows up, which is a group of former graduates of Hope's Peak Academy that basically decide, you know what, we gotta get this under control, we gotta get the world back into working order. And so they try to do that. In the meantime, you have where the first game takes place. You have a group of students locked into Hope's Peak Academy, which has been transformed into a shelter. Which is, sadly, where the killing games begin for the first time. You see, these students kind of, yeah, they're safe in the building, but one thing that they didn't plan for was the fact that not only was one of the Ultimate Despairs also in the building, but it was the leader of the group, the true Ultimate Despair. And they kind of were like, hey, you know what would be fun? If I turned this shelter into a cage and forced these symbols of hope that everyone in the world clings onto as their last remaining hope in the apocalypse, if I forced them to kill each other, and broadcasted that to the entire world. So they did that. They erased everyone's memories, so they didn't know each other anymore, didn't know the apocalypse was going on outside, and basically were like, hey, you are locked in the school, kill each other if you want to get out. And that's how the killings, the first killing game began. All these killing games, all the subsequent ones as well, exist mainly as a way to hunt down the last remaining specks of hope in the world. Get them, lure them to rescue the people locked inside and kill them when they get there. As well as, you know, just make people fall to despair just by seeing the symbols of hope killing each other. But, in the end, all of that got resolved. So the survivors from the first killing game, the handful of survivors that they were able to make it out. They joined up with the Future Foundation. They were able to find the main remnants of despair and help them out to recover. And the world slowly but surely recovers. The problem is that then the anime takes place, where basically the Future Foundation itself is forced into a killing game. But even that is resolved in the end, and the former remnants of despair, which have been basically cured. You fight someone using brainwashing by using brainwashing yourself, basically. Because those remnants of despair were formerly also students at the academy. So they get, quote-unquote, cured of despair. And they basically take the entire responsibility for everything on themselves, go on the run, and allow the world to basically recover. And after all that, you got V3. After everything is resolved, basically, V3 takes place. And kind of turns everything on its head again. Now, during all that chaos, there is one specific thing that's a little bit of a tangent, and that's Ultra Despair Girls, because that takes place within the apocalypse, where you're running around in a city where basically everyone gets slaughtered by a group of children. So not even teenagers, actual children, which call themselves the Warriors of Hope, which is ironic considering that their actions cause a lot of despair. But beyond that, that is basically the world and story of Danganronpa. Which means now it's time to get into the characters. I will keep this brief because there are a lot of important characters, and I'm gonna have to speedrun through this a little bit now. So I'm gonna talk just briefly about each of them. The cards are gonna have their names, biological sex, their title, and possible nicknames that they have listed. And then I'll go a little bit into trivia wherever that is possible. Now then. Let's get started. So we have, first of all...
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment!
Thank you, Monokuma. Oh, damn it, everything disappeared. No, 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 no. Keep that open, keep that open. I want to keep seeing that. No, don't just... Everything closed on my end. This is horrible. There we go. Okay. So first of all, we have Monokuma. Bringing despair to me already, I see. So,
It's fitting.
Monokuma is basically the headmaster. Monokuma is the main mascot of the franchise. Later called by particularly one individual, Papakuma, but also because he has a bunch of little cubs. But Papakuma is the only thing that could be considered a nickname. I personally really like the nickname Winnie the Piece of Shit, which was given to him by a particularly vulgar cast member, which we'll get to later. And yeah, basically the mascot and the one imposing all the rules upon everyone. Monokuma is a advanced robot, super advanced robot, including a lot of features which allow it to basically self-destruct and do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So, yeah, and basically very mean. Also provides motives for everyone to kill each other in addition to getting out, just in case the original motive of getting out wasn't enough. But now let's move on to some characters that I do not care for, but that are still kind of important, which are...
I'd make them choke on the haterade!
Kurokuma. The most annoying character in my opinion. Kurokuma serves as an advisor to the Warriors of Hope in UDG, and even the Warriors of Hope consider him to be incredibly annoying. The only reason why Kurokuma is kind of important is because he houses one half of a very dangerous AI. And this AI is Alter Ego Junko, which we'll get into a little bit later. The other half of this AI, on the other hand, is housed by...
Thank you for saving everyone!
Shirokuma. Basically the exact opposite of Kurokuma at first glance. This little robot helps the surviving people to find shelter and everything, but secretly works as a spy to supply the Warriors of Hope with information to hunt down survivors. Which is something that, yeah, doesn't really get found out until the very final boss of UDG. But very annoying, and when these two are both destroyed in the end and there are two halves of the AI get brought together, that causes a little bit of problem in the long run. Now let's get into Monokuma's cubs, which are very forgettable characters, so I'll get through them very, very quickly. So, the Monocubs.
Love, love.
Scratch that, we're not on the Monocubs yet, I'm an idiot. We have Usami/Monami, another antithesis to Monokuma. Basically trying to support the students, trying to make sure they hang on to hope, don't give in to despair, but very insignificant compared to Monokuma, and basically fails at everything they do, which is why they are pretty forgettable and why I forgot to even mention them.
I've already forgotten what we're even talking about.
Me too, Monotaro. This is the Monocubs. Now, the Monocubs are basically just some extra mascots, 5 of them, that are meant to liven things up a little bit more. They're Monokuma's cubs, but they're really not interesting. They have a few distinguishing traits, like Monotaro, for example, who's incredibly forgetful and has, I guess, one slightly interesting plotline later, but it's not really all that impressive.
The hell you saying?
Then we have Monosuke. Again, not really impressive. Constantly thinks of marketing opportunities to sell merchandise related to Danganronpa, which I guess kind of meta at some point, but beyond that, nothing interesting.
Daddy, your tongue feels amazing!
Not going into that quote. Monophony is kind of similar to Usami/Monami in a lot of ways, because she also is not very fond of the whole killing thing going on. She hates gore, but she still supports the killing game for some reason. Then we have
Got a rock-hard rager!
Monokid, the most aggressive of the Monocubs, and an active bully. Again, not much more to say about this character, so we're moving on to
We are all friends.
Monodum. Now this is, out of all the Monocubs, probably the most interesting one. Monodum is always being bullied by Monokid, but always wants everyone to get along, including the students who they're actually trying to get to kill each other. So even though they're trying to get the students to kill each other, Monodum kind of works a little bit against that, and even starts a rebellion against Monokuma at some point, which really doesn't work out in the long run. So yeah, that's the Monocubs. Now let's get into the actual characters. About time, isn't it?
Don't lose hope now.
So we have the main character of the first game, Makoto Naegi. So Makoto starts joining the academy as the ultimate lucky student. Now this basically means he was not picked because the academy actively sought him out, but because, well, he got chosen by a lottery to attend. So beyond that, he seems like your pretty much normal student, even though he claims himself that he has more bad luck than good luck throughout most of the game. But towards the end of the game, he earns the title of Ultimate Hope for standing up against the Ultimate Despair. Now, the titles of Ultimate Hope and Ultimate Despair are kind of hard to grasp because it's not exactly a talent, but I guess neither is Ultimate Lucky Student, if we're being honest. So, as you could expect, Makoto is your basic, incredibly optimistic main character who always tries to make everyone do their best, and is a bit of a wimp usually. But beyond that, towards the end of the game, he grows some balls, I guess. So now we have, moving on from Makoto,
Please always be there for me.
we have Sayaka, Makoto's initial love interest in the game, who is the ultimate pop sensation. So she is famous all over the country, she's the lead singer of a pop group, and has her own set of fans. Her fan base in lore is called Sayakers, so if you're a Sayaka, basically means you're a fan of her. Beyond that, she is really underdeveloped as a character, she doesn't get a lot of stuff going, and she really... Basically, she likes Makoto too, but she really abuses his feelings towards her, just for her own advantage at some points, which is kind of sad.
Stupid, 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 stupid!
Then we have Leon Kuwata. Now the thing is, about Leon and about Sayaka, these two were actually the initial character designs that all the other characters are based off of. So... interesting little tidbit, which is, again, this is kind of a massive spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this, cover your ears for just a second. These two die in the first chapter. Because the game developers got sick and tired of looking at them all the time because they had to base all the other character designs off of them. Now, I'm kind of curious because I'm getting so many frame drops. Am I still connected properly? I am, right?
Yeah, I still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I keep getting frame drops and I hate that. Okay. But yeah, Leon... also known as 11037 because of a stupid thing that happened in the game. Because people can't figure out that Leon written upside down. They couldn't figure out that Leon's name was written upside down at one point. And they just thought, hey, that says 11037. I wonder what that could mean. I mean, makes perfect sense to me. I mean, technically they are Japanese, so it makes sense that they wouldn't understand. But still, for everyone playing the game for the first time, everyone's pulling out their hair like, why can't you read his name? But... in lore, kind of makes sense. Moving on to the next character,
Pardonnez-moi.
which is Celestia Ludenberg, which is actually a fake name. Her real name is Taiko Yasuhiro. Now, she keeps the secret throughout most of it because she kind of indulges in her own little fantasy. She wants to one day own a European castle and gather a bunch of handsome men to dress up as vampires and serve her every need. Which is an interesting dream, I suppose, but... it's a dream that she never ends up achieving throughout the games, obviously, because Apocalypse and all that kind of stuff. She's also known as the ultimate gambler and the Queen of Liars, which is why she's one character you shouldn't really trust all the time. Moving on to the next character, which is Mondo. Mondo Owada, the ultimate biker gang leader, which is one talent where I'm like, how does a school decide that a biker gang leader is fit for attending? But I guess they had some kind of reason for it. Now, as you would expect, he's very hostile most of the time. But he actually has a little bit of he actually has a soft heart below all of this hard exterior that he has. Once you get to know him, he actually is very kind. But he has his own struggles he deals with all the time. Which is why, sadly, he doesn't always show the soft side. He actually very rarely shows it. But he specifically shows it to one character, which we're gonna get to in a bit.
You disgust me.
But first, we have Aoi Asahina, who's the ultimate swimming pro. Now, she's actually very insignificant throughout most of the games, but despite that, she actually is a key player in one particular trial in which her closest friend is directly involved. And yeah, she's a bit of an idiot, usually, but also an idiot with a big heart.
It's unwholesome. F you.
Then we have the ultimate moral compass. Now, this guy, he's very, very concerned about, the rules being kept up. Like, if you're a minute late to a meeting, he's immediately gonna start yelling at you. He's that kind of guy, which is why a lot of people in universe and some people outside of it really don't like him. So he actually gets a little bit of character development later on when his best friend, or bro, as he calls him, dies, and there's a lot of stuff going implied that they were more than just friends. Like, a lot more than just friends. But when his quote-unquote bro dies, he takes it upon himself to basically take on his spirit and becomes a little bit more outgoing and hostile, but still can't manage to curse properly. He's saying stuff like, he can't even say the F word. He's trying hard. He's trying hard to be aggressive, but he can't really manage. So, after that,
I can't forgive this.
we have Sakura Agami. Now, this is Hina's close friend. Again, a lot of people assume that there's more going on between them than just them being friends. But, yeah, she's the ultimate martial artist. A character who a lot of people initially think is a boy because of the muscles. Which, again, why couldn't your girl have muscles? It's totally fair. But that's something that happens both to people playing and people in universe. And honestly, she is a big, big softie. She always cares about everyone, tries to help everyone out wherever she can. But, yeah, she has a lot going on for her as well. Something that is actually later on revealed is, again, slight spoiler, but then again, a lot of this is slight spoiler territory. It turns out that she's actually kind of working as a spy for the mastermind of the original Killing game. A fact that something that she later regrets and tries to stand up for, but even that doesn't really work out for her in the end, sadly.
What should I do?
I'm gonna do my best.
Then we have Chihiro Fujisaki, one of my personal favorites. Another character that causes a lot of gender confusion initially, but he's a guy, and he identifies as a guy as well, but the reason he dresses preferably like a girl is because he has an incredible inferiority complex considering his own lack of strength. He's constantly heard people say stuff like, you're so weak even though you're a boy, which is why he kind of took on the form of as he himself put it, a petite young girl to try to avoid comments like that in the future. And Chihiro also is really great with programming, which is why he's the ultimate programmer, and was able to create basically an exact duplicate of himself in the form of an AI called Alter Ego, which actually helps the group out even far later on throughout the franchise.
Not that you'll remember my name anyway, but...
It's me, your serial killer with a splendid smile.
Then we have someone with a slight split personality, and I say slight here, but I mean it's a severe case of split personality. You have your basic shy girl who has an incredible inferiority complex, who constantly is putting words in everyone's mouth saying like, I know you hate me, just come out and say it already. And on the other hand, you have this very, very active serial killer. Now, the thing about this is there's a lot of confusion with the names, because in the anime adaptation, her serial killer self is called Genocide Show, and in the games, they can't decide whether it's Genocide Jack or Genocide Jill. There's a lot of back and forth in which name is used, but this serial killer has a specific go-to when it comes to committing crimes, which is, for one, the target. She only targets, as she puts it, adorable little boys. So if you're not adorable, if you're not a boy, you're safe. But method of killing always involves scissors, and then pinning the body to a wall in a crucified position using those scissors. And writing the word bloodlust at the scene of every crime, which is something that comes up in the game a few times, but you'd think that having a serial killer among a group of people who are in a killing game would be a threat. And yeah, that is why she kind of turns into a main suspect a lot, after it's revealed that she is a serial killer.
Don't make me repeat myself.
Then we have one of my personal favorites. Now, I know that a lot of people hate Byakuya, but you can catch me simping for him all the time. The ultimate affluent progeny, which basically just means ultimate rich dude. His family kind of is a big deal, because there's kind of this whole thing like, this council of people controlling the world from the shadows kind of deal, and his family is a member of that council. And he likes to refer to himself as the ultimate perfection because he's so great at everything. But naturally, he gets very distraught upon realizing that the apocalypse is upon the world, which means that said secret council doesn't exist anymore, and his title, because his entire family disappeared, is basically entirely worthless.
Just as I thought.
And then we have Kyoko, who comes with a big reveal later on, which is her title. Her title as Ultimate Detective actually only gets revealed a little bit later on in the game, and up until then it is completely unknown what her ultimate talent even is. Now, the big connection between her and the school is that her dad is actually the headmaster of the school, so she attended the school to try to meet her dad again because she got abandoned at a very young age. And the only reason she wants to meet her dad is not to reconnect with him or anything, but to cut all ties with him and just tell him that she no longer considers him family. But she's one of the key players, as you could tell in a killing game. Having someone with the title of Ultimate Detective might come in very handy. Which gets us now
There's no way to think about this in a common sense kind of way.
to Ifumi Yamada, the ultimate fanfic creator, or as he's called in the original Japanese version, the ultimate doujinshi artist. Which, yeah, his specialty is pornography, basically. He has a lot of nicknames, some self-given, some given by others. For example, the name the Alpha and the Omega, as he likes to call himself, very much a self-given name. And he likes to appear all incredible, constantly claiming he has only interest in 2D girls, but still taking every opportunity to spy on the other girls, if at all possible. Which is why, personally, don't really like him. And I feel like a lot of people agree with that.
Hi!
Then we have Mukuro. Except, this is kind of a big reveal. Mukuro Ikusaba, one of the Ultimate Despairs, is actually the sister of Junko Enoshima. Don't question why they have different last names. It's never explained in the franchise. They actually poke fun at the fact that they never explain it. She's originally known as the Ultimate Soldier, but she disguises herself as her sister in the killing game to try to divert attention a little bit. Because later on, it is revealed that her sister, Junko Enoshima, is actually the mastermind. But before we get to the mastermind herself, we have one more insignificant character, which is kind of in the same boat as Hina, if we're being honest. A little bit of an idiot. Lovable idiot who constantly fails at everything he does. Now the thing is, he's the ultimate clairvoyant, meaning, hey, he's a fortune teller. He should be able to basically use that to his advantage and use that to make up for his lack of intelligence. But sadly, he never does. He can't really do that. He actually got held back 3 times, so he's quite a bit older than the other characters. And the thing about him is that his fortune telling is 30% accurate. Like 30% of the time he gets it right. Now that might sound like a low success score, which is why a lot of people make fun of him in universe and out of universe. But the thing about his fortune telling is when he gets it right to every last detail. Like if he gets, and that includes everything. Like he can basically say that, hey, a natural disaster is going to happen and it's going to be a volcano eruption on that specific day at that specific time. And when he gets it right, he nails every single detail. Naturally, drawback, only 30% of the time it actually happens. Which gets us now
Suffer from despair.
to Junko Enoshima. Junko Enoshima, the true mastermind, the true ultimate despair, also known as the ultimate fashionista initially. She has incredible analytical abilities, which is how she was able to basically copy what Chihiro was doing with Alter Ego and create her own AI program, which she then split into Shirokuma and Kurokuma, respectively. And yeah, she's just basically the true mastermind. Now, I'm noticing that I've already been rambling for a long time and we're still in the first game, so I'm gonna start speeding it up a little bit more now. So, beyond Junko, we have now the second game. Starting with the main character of the second game, who initially his talent is unknown, much like Kyoko, but turns out he is the only surviving Reserve Corps student in the end. But it turns out that even that was then not entirely accurate, because he was used by Hope's Peak Academy as a lab rat and turned into the ultimate Hope, Izuru Kamakura, which basically means his entire personality and memories were all erased to make room for basically a mindless superhuman who's just like bored of everything that happens in the world. And that is Izuru Kamakura. And basically, Izuru Kamakura, being a superhuman, being the ultimate hope, in his case means he has every single talent to ever exist at the same time. Which basically means he's overpowered and basically can beat everyone he could ever want to beat.
Which cockroach said that?
Then we have Hiyoko, who is a traditional dancer. Really, really annoying. The one thing I can say about her is that her fans are mostly men, and they are very interested in her mostly because they all fit in the same niche, which is kinda yikes, but she's a little bitch, so everyone hates her.
Don't treat me like a fucking kid.
Then we have the Ultimate Yakuza, for everyone who doesn't know what that means. That basically means part of the that he is a leader of basically Japanese mafia, so kind of big deal, but again, turns out later on, he's very, very guarded at first. But much like Mondo, it turns out he's a bit of a softie, even though you only realize that towards later in the game when he actually tries to open up. And then he opens up towards everyone. But up until then, he's very hostile, constantly saying stuff like if he wanted to kill someone, he would do it without hesitation.
I am nothing but a tool.
Then we have the Ultimate Swordswoman, who also kind of works for the same clan, the Kuzuryu clan. She works for Fuyuhiko as a tool, even though Fuyuhiko really doesn't like the fact that she considers herself a tool, because he actually really likes her as a person.
I have not unleashed even half of my power yet.
Here we have one of my favorites. Or rather, 5 of my favorites if you count all the different characters that are involved in this. We have Gundam Tanaka and his 4 Dark Devas of Destruction. He's called the Ultimate Breeder for the fact that he is able to basically breed animals perfectly. Rumor has it he can talk to animals. He succeeded at saving an endangered species even. And then you have his 4 Dark Devas, which he raises in his scarf, basically. And they are adorable, and he's very much so a chuuni. And that is a character trait I really, really adore in characters.
God damn it, all to hell!
And then the Ultimate Princess Sonia Nevermind, also called the Dark Lady, mainly by Gundam, is... Well, basically her and Gundam are like one of the #1 ships out there, because of how close they are. Sonia has a very incredible interest in serial killers and the occult, and comes from a country that has very, very unique culture and animals that basically the game constantly pokes fun at no one understanding. And even I don't fully understand some of the stuff here.
Engines revving.
Soda is another idiot. Not much to say about him. He's a little bit of a scaredy cat. And has a huge crush on Sonia, but she doesn't reciprocate.
No complaining, let's just settle this with our fists.
Here we have probably the biggest idiot in the franchise. But she also has a whole bunch of siblings. She's very innocent, so to speak. Not physically, not like in the sense that she hasn't done the deed, but in the sense that she doesn't really understand the implications behind some stuff. And that she is very easygoing about everything.
Sure.
Then we have Nekomaru Nidai, who later on gets remodeled into a robot, which the biggest change, a change that everyone is always upset about, and the change that you can clearly see in these 2 images. Upon getting remodeled into a robot, he loses his bulge. Very sad. Everyone misses the bulge. But yeah, he's the ultimate team manager. Despite his incredible muscles, he doesn't actually do anything on sports teams, just managing them, which is something that a lot of people in Universe think is kind of a waste considering his build.
You are a boy, right?
Mahiru is probably the most normal out of all the characters, and serves as kind of a big sister kind of character in the games. Basically connecting the group, bringing them together. And then we have Togami 2, basically. Now this dude has no name, his gender is unknown, his age is unknown, nothing about him is known. All that's known is that he is the ultimate imposter, which haha funny Among Us reference. And because he doesn't have an official name or anything, you basically have to rely on nicknames for him. A lot of people just like to call him Togami or Fat Togami because of, well, the fact that he's mimicking Togami. But in Universe, the first nickname he received, I think, was Ham Hands, which was given to him by the annoying little bitch Hiyoko.
I'm sorry.
Then we have another one of my personal favorites, which is Mikan. Sadly, though, she's another one who suffers a lot from bullying. And she's actually, now this is a big kind of thing, she's actually one of again, kind of spoilery, one of the first people to fall to despair. Because the whole thing about these cast of the second game is that all of them are the former remnants of despair that people are trying to rehabilitate, basically, by, again, erasing memories to undo brainwashing. She was the first one to fall because of how frail she is and everything, but beyond that, she's a really nice character and she's someone that you just want to protect.
Please call me the ultimate hope.
Here we have Nagito. Unlike Makoto, he really has bullshit levels of luck as the ultimate lucky student. Like, he casually at one point plays Russian roulette with 5 bullets in the chamber instead of 1, and he wins. And he just did like it's a normal thing. So, yeah, his luck is incredibly outrageous, and something you don't want to mess with.
Meow.
Then we have Ibuki. Now this character has a little bit of a split in the fanbase. You either absolutely adore her, or you absolutely hate her. I personally really hate her. She's basically the definition of lol XD so random, and it's something that I can't really get behind.
I can't stop drooling.
Teru Teru is the second game's resident pervert, and he likes being called the ultimate chef despite his official title being the ultimate cook, and he takes every opportunity to flirt with every single character he sees, both male and female, and nobody likes him because of that.
Hey.
And then we have probably one of the most popular characters in the franchise, which is Chiaki, the ultimate gamer. That title alone probably gives you reason enough to understand why she's so liked. But the thing about her is that she's actually also a very intelligent character, a key player in a lot of the trials, and basically her talent and her nature are what makes her fans like her so much.
This game makes no sense
Which
at
is,
all.
now we're getting into V3. Again, we're getting close to the end here. So this guy, Puichi, or Sherlock Homo, as he's been called sometimes, despite not being homosexual, but that doesn't matter as long as it's a fitting abbreviation for him when it comes to, referencing the Sherlock Holmes trope. Another ultimate detective in V3. In V3 they can kind of do that because it's a whole new chapter of the story, so they kind of reuse some talents every now and then. He's the main character of V3, and basically, yeah, he's very shy at first, he actually has a fear of discovering the truth, which is kind of bad for a detective, but he gets over it thanks to the help of one person, that being...
If you did that more often, you'd be a pretty cool guy.
the ultimate pianist, the second main character of V3. That's right, V3 actually has 2 different main characters. The second one is Kaede Akamatsu, who really helps Shuichi get out of his shell. She's also kind of the core of the group in the beginning, helping everyone get together as a group and fight against the mastermind.
The impossible is possible. All you gotta do is make it so.
Haitama Mota is another person who also really helps Shuichi out of his shell. He's basically, despite not being a protagonist, he has that big protag energy, always going around, constantly thinking of himself as the hero, and recruiting people like Shuichi to, as he calls it, be his sidekicks. And yeah. Which is why, again, I really like him actually as a character, but I can see how some people might consider him to be slightly annoying.
Do you want to die?
The second sidekick of Kaito actually is Maki Harakawa, the ultimate child caregiver as she's known for in the game usually, but her true talent that she's actually hiding is the ultimate assassin. The reason she doesn't want anyone to know is basically because she fears that that would make people stop trusting her, which, lo and behold, once it gets revealed, it makes people stop trusting her because she hid it from them.
From an anthropological point of view, Korekio speaks the truth.
Then we have Korekio, who is another serial killer, and this guy, not only is he a serial killer, but he also has a big crush on his sister. And I don't just mean crush in like, yeah, he knows it's wrong. No, he's the incest guy. Like, legit, it's been confirmed that he slept with his sister on multiple occasions. Until she eventually ended up dying from sickness, after which she visited him during a seance, and has stayed with him since then. And his entire goal in being a serial killer is basically to make friends for his sister. So his goals for his victims are, first of all, his victims all need to be girls. Second of all, he needs to deem them worthy of being his sister's friends. And if that is achieved, he kills them to send them as a ghost to his sister.
This is my selfless devotion.
Kirumi Tojo, kind of the mom of the group in the third game, in the third official game, killing game. Not much else to say about her. She serves she's a maid, so she basically tries to complete any task given to her. Basically, one of the more boring characters in my opinion.
You've still got a ways to go.
Ryohama Hoshi, the ultimate tennis pro, is interesting in the sense that he actually used his talent to kill a mafia boss at one point, using an iron ball and his tennis skills to shoot them through the head. After which he ended up in prison and was able to attend Hope's Peak, but after which he's gonna have to go back. So he sees himself as someone who has no future.
Don't worry. Atua is watching over us.
Then we have Angie, who is a bit of a cultist. She's the ultimate artist and serves as the student council president in V3, which is basically a cult into which she abducts anyone she's able to brainwash, which is one of the main reasons why most of the people in the community absolutely hate her, but she's a very energetic type of character, and claims that all her artwork that she creates as the ultimate artist is created through Atua, her god, and he's only using her body as a vessel.
Gonta could maybe use fists as weapons, but then Gonta would be no gentleman.
Going on with this rant, we have Gonta, who many people like to call the ultimate gentleman, because he's a very big softie, incredibly big softie. Initially can come across as a bit intimidating, but he tries his best to always act as gentlemanly as possible. As the ultimate entomologist, I should probably clarify for those who don't know what that is, basically means he researches bugs, and he's a big fan of bugs, actually, considers them his friends, and he was actually raised in the forest by wolves. So, yeah, if you're getting a little bit of a Tarzan vibe from him, that would be why.
Great, huh?
Then we have Himiko, the ultimate magician, who insists she's a mage using real magic rather than doing tricks. She's a bit of a lazy character. Sometimes, as she says it, she's almost too lazy to breathe. But I really like her as a character, probably because I can relate to being lazy.
Stupid! That was just a lie!
Then we have Kokichi Oma, the ultimate supreme leader, known as kind of similarly to Celeste in the first game. He lies all the time. He's a total enigma because you never know whether you can believe what he's saying. Like, he is the champion at lying. Everything he says could be a lie, could be the truth. You basically have a 50-50 chance of getting it. He constantly lies even about lying, pointing out that he's lying when he might not be lying, which is why you really never know. You really never know. In the end of the game, it's teased that he might have had feelings towards Himiko, but since it is unknown whether or not what he says is the truth, it is something that one can never be too sure about. He also claims to always support the killing game because it's so fun, but towards the end he says that he absolutely hates it and wants to end it. Again, it is kind of left up to everyone by their own to interpret which of those two things is the truth.
Ugh, degenerate males.
Then we have Tenko, who hates men in general. Like, you get too close to her, she's gonna throw you across the room. She's very, very annoying. Like, you can't even really get too close to her in the game. And I really don't like her, which is why I don't have much to say about her. She also is hardcore crushing on Himiko throughout most of the game, to an extent that Himiko considers it to be harassment. Which is another reason why I just don't like her.
That's robophobic.
Now we're getting slowly towards the end. Don't worry, there's not much left. I know this is already going on for way too long, and I'll speed things up a little bit more.
No,
so we have
fine.
Kibo.
You're fine.
Am I though?
Yes.
Am I though?
Yes.
I'm sorry. This is a big franchise. I said it before. There are
We've
too many
learned a lot
characters.
about Umber in this.
Yeah, I know.
On this presentation.
As someone who's formerly in the fandom, this is like delightful, dude. Please continue.
There are way too many characters. I'm sorry. I even scratched the anime characters because there's just not too much to say about them. But there are anime exclusives too, and I just Anyway, Kibo, ultimate robot. Constantly getting made fun of, especially by Kibo, thinking every single comment that you make about him being a robot is robophobic, so very, very easily offended. But also a precious being that you just want to protect. And later on, he also gets the title of Ultimate Hope Robot, because you can't just make it the Ultimate Hope, you have to have his robot talent in there. But yeah, his only talent is his existence as a robot. Now,
Fucking virgin.
here is Mew, the one who came up with such incredible nicknames, such as Winnie the Piece of Shit, or Puichi, or Kai Idiot. Basically, if you see an offensive nickname, she's the one who came up with it. She's the ultimate inventor, and she constantly is like a very sexual character. Like, there's even one scene at the game where she takes off all her clothes except for her underwear, just to avoid being pursued by someone, just to fluster them enough to get out of there, and comments on the fact that she shows her panties to the boys all the time. So, interesting but weird character.
I'm going to end this game.
Here we have another one whose talent initially is unknown, but he is initially known as the Ultimate Adventurer, but the thing is he also has the title of Ultimate Survivor, which is what you find out in the game later on. So initially you don't know anything about this dude, he's the big mystery of V3, but later on you learn that he has the title of Ultimate Survivor because he survived a previous killing game. Which is why V3, again, I said before, it takes place way after everything else, because it's actually not the third killing game, it's the 53rd killing game, but yeah. He survived the 52nd killing game, which is how he earned the title of Ultimate Survivor. In the 52nd one, he had the title of Ultimate Adventurer. And he tries to end the killing game basically as soon as it starts, sadly fails in that task, though.
It's all fiction.
Viewers flock to see your despair.
And then we have the big reveal of V3, the fact that Tsumugi Shirogane, the ultimate cosplayer, is actually Junko Enoshima the 53rd, leading the 53rd killing game. So yeah, big plot twist about all of this is that in every single killing game, Junko Enoshima is the mastermind. Every single time. At this point, the developers are even poking fun at it in the game. Because in the first one, it was a big reveal. In the second one, it was kind of a big reveal when the Junko Enoshima AI came around. And at this point, everyone's just poking fun at it. So yeah, again, the ultimate despair. And the thing is that Tsumugi Shirogane in-universe actually works for Team Danganronpa, which is basically saying that, hey, this is a fourth wall break. So this is why V3 is not connected to the other games, but the other games are connected to V3, because within the universe of V3, all the stuff leading up to this was was fiction. So this is basically the rest of Danganronpa would be fiction within fiction if you look at V3. So Tsumugi is part of the production team behind Danganronpa and makes an actual killing game, which is how V3 comes to be.
If I hunt down every single demon, then nobody has to be afraid anymore.
Now we're finishing things up very soon. We're going into the UDG cast. There are only a few characters here worth talking about, so I'm starting with the Warriors of Hope here. But yeah, there's only a handful here, thankfully. So the first one is Masaru Daimon, who serves as the hero of the Warriors of Hope, and has the title of the leader, unofficial leader. Actually, yeah, official leader, but behind the scenes, someone else is very much pulling the strings. He had a very abusive father, an alcoholic, who constantly beat him and constantly sent him off to buy him alcohol, beat him again if he didn't get the alcohol because he couldn't buy it because he's underage, beat him if he tried to steal it because he couldn't buy it because he's underage. Basically, horrible childhood, which is how he joined up with the rest of the Warriors of Hope and started the mass genocide of all adults in the inner city. The second character of the Warriors of Hope
I should have been the one to die. Might as well.
is Jataro, the Little Ultimate Art. Now, the thing about the Little Ultimates, I should probably mention this real quick, is because they are accepted by Hope's Peak Elementary, where basically they're given ultimate titles based on the subject in which they're the best at. Now, this guy holds the title of the Priest. He was basically always neglected by his mother because she hated the fact that he was born. She constantly, every morning, wakes up and thinks how wonderful it would be if her child was just dead or didn't exist. She forces him to wear a mask all the time because she hates the fact how he actually looks like actually described as looking beautiful. And she hates that, constantly tells him he's ugly, tries to spend as little time with him as possible. And he also, again, joins the Warriors of Hope, causes a mass genocide of adults, and uses the corpses of his victims to make his art pieces.
of yours to work, and you'll never go hungry.
Then we have Kotoko, who... Might you be able to guess what her tragic backstory might have been? Anyone?
You told me before, so...
Yeah. Okay.
She's made of chewed up bubblegum?
She
God,
was
he's
raped as a kid multiple times.
Oh, okay. Didn't see that coming.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Not just that. In fact, her mother was supporting this. Her mother actually sold her daughter off into the sexual business, including like doing like a mother and daughter set where they both slept with people, which again kind of scarred her a lot, which is one of the main reasons why she's up with the whole genocide thing. And she actually turns it around, and now she basically is not currently also one assaulting people in that way. Now the thing is, she spares kids. She absolutely hates adults, so she usually targets like people in their teens, because those are like the ones where she's like, okay, I can target those people. But yeah, there's actually a game over in UDG where you basically get mind broken by her.
More! Expect more from me!
And then we have Nagisa, the vice leader of the Warriors of Hope. Now, his father, actually both his parents, work for the academy and basically treat him like an experiment. They force him to study all the time. They basically, whenever he's getting tired, he's getting medication so he doesn't fall asleep. Basically even forgot he's even their child. Just treating him like a full-on experiment, trying to push a child to their breaking point, seeing how far they can go. Which is, again, joining Warriors of Hope, taking revenge, that kind of deal. Now let's go to the big bad, the one pulling the Warriors of Hope's strings behind the scenes, the final member.
If Monica wants it, it happens!
Monica Toa, known as the mage of the group. Little Ultimate Homeroom, which I don't see how that would be a subject one could be particularly good at. But she's the one basically manipulating everyone. She's actually a child genius. So she's actually responsible for, partially responsible for creating Monokuma. Because her family's company works in the field of robotics. And because she's a child genius, she was actually able to contribute. And she started actually mass producing the Monokuma robots, which actually are part of what helped cause the apocalypse in the first place. And since she's the one helping produce them, she has full control over them, which is how the Warriors of Hope are able to effectively kill adults all the time, because they have an army of robotic homicidal bears at their disposal, basically. And yeah, she's like one person where everyone in the world can agree, in this case, it's okay to drown a child. Like, if you had the opportunity.
I like him younger. As young as possible.
And there's Haiji, her older brother, another key player in this story. He actually leads the rebellion against the Warriors of Hope, but he mainly just hides. Also, that quote you just heard from him, yeah, it's bad. The thing is, not only does he say he likes them younger, he says that to a teenager, so implying very much that he's also a pedophile. And it makes it even worse considering you're siding with him through a lot of the game, because naturally, you're trying to stop the Warriors of Hope, but siding with that guy is something that a lot of people are not very happy with.
You kill people and laugh about it and say that you aren't the ones in the wrong?
And this is the main character of UDG, now finally wrapping up the characters. God, that was a long list. This is Makoto's younger sister, who is basically just a normal girl. She doesn't have a title, she never even attended Hope Speaks Reserve Department. She was actually taken hostage during the tragedy, but managed to escape into the ruined world, and is the main person fighting the Warriors of Hope. And yeah, she basically tries to live up to her big brother's reputation in the long run, because her big brother became known as the Ultimate Hope who took down Despair, and she ends up being the one to take down the Warriors of Hope. So again, I feel like she lives up to her big brother's reputation. Now, finally, the future of the franchise, the one thing that we're going to be talking about before this far too long of a presentation comes to an end. So, since Kodaka, the main writer for the franchise, has left, there's been a lot of people who were very pessimistic about the franchise's continued existence, especially because the story was mainly wrapped up in the anime, and since V3, basically the ending of V3 is them going full meta and saying, we're going to end Danganronpa, nobody wants this franchise anymore, nobody wants to watch people die, which again, kind of an in-universe thing still, because fiction within fiction, but again, a lot of people say that that basically ended the Danganronpa franchise, and there's nothing more they could do from there. But despite that, they still released Decadence, which is basically the anniversary edition of all the previous games, and they released Danganronpa S, which, yeah, is a new game. It's a non-canon spin-off, but still, we are still getting Danganronpa games nowadays, despite the official story having basically wrapped up. In addition to that, there are still some loose threads that people would like to see wrapped up, such as the ending of Ultra Despair Girls, which involves Komaru Naegi now trying to find her parents, which is something that could be tackled in a second Ultra Despair Girls game, which was even teased in V3, but then never further elaborated upon. So a lot of people are hopeful for the franchise to make a turn, especially because Kodaka himself has stated that he's willing to return to the franchise at some point in the future and would actually like to do that as well. But as of right now, that is where the Danganronpa franchise has reached its end, and where this long presentation has also reached its end. So, basically, this is all I had to say on the franchise. I know it was long. I know there's a lot I was talking about. I know there's way too many characters. I even left some out that are not as important to the story, but what can you do? So I hope I didn't chew your ears off too much with that one. So are there any questions?
I'm outraged, Code. What the fuck is a Danganronpa? You didn't answer that question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The title basically comes from means like bullet shot as words, or words shot as bullets there, because that's the main gameplay aspect of the games, which I didn't really go too much into. In the class trials, you basically shoot down your opponent's contradictions by turning your evidence basically into verbal bullets that you shoot at their statements. It's more of a visual thing and not actually an in-lore thing that you have bullets, but yeah.
I have a question. So, Code, if you were put into one of these situations, what do you think your specialty would be?
Yeah, what's your ultimate?
I've been asked that question before. Now, part of me always wants to say Ultimate Gamer, but that for one feels too generic. For another, that has been a talent before, so I don't want to copy someone else's talent. So I would try to go with the example I made in the beginning of like poetry, because that's something I do every now and then, and it doesn't feel too generic. So I would probably go with Ultimate Poet.
Nice.
Question
We got a question from
chat. If you had to kill one character, who would it be?
Oh. There are a few characters I absolutely hate, like Hiyoko, for example, I think. But if we're going for spin-offs as well, like UDG isn't part of a killing game, so it shouldn't really count. But if I could kill Monica, I would.
Yes, I know these names and who they are.
I mean, you should.
I remember everything that you said right up here in my noggin.
The little green pickle-haired girl that leads the Warriors of Hope. Yeah, if I could kill her, I would. But if we're talking about the main killing games, then the traditional dancer girl.
Hell yeah.
Killing
children.
Hey, they're all the same. Okay, except for the Warriors of Hope. But except for the Warriors of Hope, they're basically all the same age. And Yasuhiro, because he got held back a few times, but yeah. Basically the same age.
When did you get into the fandom? That is my question.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Also, hi, Mud.
I've been here, bro. Hi.
Oh, we didn't say hi earlier.
Oh my god.
I got into the fandom a few years ago. Again, I started with the anime, which was a big mistake on my part. But it was definitely, I think like 3 years ago, maybe? 3 or 4 years ago, maybe?
Honestly, me too. I think I got into it like 3 years ago. And yeah, no, it's insane, dude, watching it all unravel.
Yeah, I know, especially because even though there's so little activity right now, from like official standpoint, there are so many like fan works of Danganronpa where people create their own story and characters, going off the Danganronpa formula with the killing games. And I'm really excited to see some of that stuff more fleshed out in the future as well.
Yeah.
Fan Wars really blow me away.
Yeah.
Would you recommend these games?
I mean, I think it's obvious that I would. But again, though, if you want to start, don't make the same mistakes either. Start from the first game. You're free to watch the anime adaptation of the first game, but again, it's just so much worse than the actual game because of all the content they had to cut to fit the entire game into like a 10-minute anime. You can expect how much got left out.
Oh,
I have only seen the anime, and on top of that, I've only seen the second half of the anime. I don't know how it starts.
Yes.
Beginning to this is possible.
So like the second part of the anime adaptation of the first one, or like Danganronpa 3, the anime where like
they were watching the first one, and then I just sat in and watched. Like I think they were halfway through with it, and I just watched it till the end. But going through the characters and stuff, it sounds way more interesting than the show. It makes me want to go and actually play the game.
The characters are actually really unique. Plus, in the games, you actually get like these free time moments where you're able to like interact with people of your choosing. Like anyone who's still alive, you're able to interact with them and learn more about them, which I think is really interesting. Gives all the playthroughs like a little bit more of a unique touch depending on who people choose to interact with in their free time, or if they skip it, which is also possible.
Also, like, from my own opinion, like, if you really like Ace Attorney stuff, like, you might like, obviously, this is, like, far more darker and not as light, like, remotely, but, like, it's still, like, a lot of fun, like, very much detective-based, so, like, if you're into that, like, I'd definitely check it out.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about getting into Ace Attorney because I haven't gotten into it yet, but I feel like it would be something that I'd be very interested in, considering how much I enjoy Danganronpa.
Dude, it's so good. Oh my god, please get into it, man.
I'm really thinking about playing Danger Rope.
Danger Rope, yes.
Yes, Danger Rope.
Very danger indeed.
Umber claims that this is campier than Ace Attorney.
That's equally as campy.
He said, if not more so.
Oh, I missed that.
Nice.
I don't know how to read.
Okay, I don't know how to read.
Well, reading is something you need in Danganronpa because it's mainly a visual novel.
The horniness did come through.
Yeah, I felt it.
For better.
Right, anything else?
I don't think I have any more questions.
Claps.
That was awesome. Clap.
All right.
Good
Again, apologies
presentation.
for how long it turned out. I should have probably tested it ahead of time. But there's just so many characters, and they're all kind of equally somewhat important most of the time. So.
It was,
It was good.
All right. And
is it your turn, Sid?
Oh, it is my turn.
It's Sid's turn.
Spear.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Oh, what yours looks like here, and I love the first slide here.
Oh gosh. Okay. Hold on. I have
yeah.
to. Oh, am I still streaming it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
let's see. How many frame drops did I have?
Okay.
Oh, wait. 37 notifications about low frames.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Dang.
These slideshows are murder on the
I don't know why.
Google Slides is literally just out for everyone's neck, dude. No mercy.
Horrible.
All right.
Why does mine just say good for him?
I told you didn't have a description on your Tumblr, so I took your one off of Dead Bard Society.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
But you took the last line. You didn't take anything else from the...
I had very limited
Good
space.
for him.
I had very limited space.
Alright, I'm gonna quickly go ahead and change back.
Okay.
I will say, Sid, my feelings are not hurt that I'm not there.
I'm sorry, you don't really stream.
No, that's fine. I'm the odd person out here. I'm just a viewer. That's all I am.
You're here.
Just a number to Sid. Oh my god.
You're not. I love you. Okay. All right.
Awesome, Moonish, thank you so much for the follow, by the way.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right.
To everyone in chat, Owl, thanks for the hydrate. Everyone, again, I'm kind of not too concerned with chat today, sadly. Because there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Get some water, everyone. Moisten your vocal cords.
Yeah, everyone
Oh,
drink
yeah.
up.
Liquidate.
Joke's on you. I drank all of my water during my presentation.
Oh no.
Oh my god, one step ahead.
All right. So we have a guide to the wild ride that is tumblr.com. I am by no means an expert on Tumblr, but I have been on the site since like 2010. I was mostly on the fandom side, and we'll be covering mostly stuff from that, like stuff that I've seen on my time on the site. But like there was also a huge artistic community. Not safe for work was very common back in the day. But the first thing that comes to mind for me when I think of Tumblr is I like your shoelaces. Urban Dictionary defines it as a phrase used by Tumblr users to detect another Tumblr user in the real world. The appropriate response is, thanks, I stole them from the president. This is the original post that it was populated on. There's like 380,000 notes on it. Means people liked and reblogged it that many times. I would like to point out that I've used Tumblr since 2010, and never in the world has anyone ever asked me this question, or have I ever asked someone else. Typically, with your friends, like at school or whatever, you just be like, hey, you got Tumblr? What's your username? Let me add you. However, I have had people starting to ask me recently as a way of like connecting and being like, hey, did you use Tumblr back in the day? Do you remember this vintage-ass stuff? Which I think is very funny. Yeah, I think it's very funny that it's become more common nowadays rather than when it was a very like popular thing. Tumblr ads. I don't have words to describe the ads on Tumblr. You really just need to see them for yourself.
Oh no.
Start sleeping with soap in your bed tonight. Here's why you should start sleeping with soap in your bed if you haven't already. Love hot romances? Laura, I was born into darkness. Just like a puppy, only my darkness is eternal. Hotel maids are losing jobs because of this. You can do much more than just drink this soda. Are you aware about this? You better not be. I mean, I really don't know who made these, or why they exist, or who the target audience even is, or what they're advertising. This is more of a shitpost than anything else, and these are the sponsored advertisements on Tumblr.com.
They did surgery in a grape.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
Okay. Oh no.
Alright. DashCon. A convention held over the weekend of July 11th, 2014 in Schaumburg, Illinois. Catering primarily to users of Tumblr. It's been famous from its management and, in short, going to shit. The convention was not actually held by the staff of Tumblr.com. It was independent people who were users on the site who thought, hey, it'd be fun if we had a convention for Tumblr. Disclaimer, I was there.
Disclaimer.
Oh my god, Sid.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
So this is a photo I took of the registration area. There was a... Yeah, I was there. There was a lot less... I am a survivor. There was a lot less people there than I was expecting. So, Friday, it seemed like a pretty normal convention. It was kind of small. It was really cool. I drove like 6 hours to get there, really far from home. And everything was going well, going to panels, stuff like that, interacting with people, cosplaying. It was a great time. In the evening, we were in a panel, and staff came and got all the convention goers and said, hey, we need to have an emergency meeting right now in the ballroom. So everyone at the con piled over to the ballroom where the convention owners were like, hey, we need $17,000 right now or the hotel's shutting down the convention. So they were taking donations from people in hats and over PayPal, and they posted on Tumblr.com asking for $17,000 within the next 2 hours or the convention was closing down. the convention staff was telling us that it was because the hotel hated us because we were in cosplay and we were weird and they didn't like us, so they were demanding more money. That wasn't true. Now I know the fact that the con owners did not pay the hotel to host the convention. So the hotel was just like, hey, we want our fucking money. There were lawyers there were police, and people who had the rooms paid for by the convention, like guests and stuff like that, were getting locked out of their hotel rooms. They did raise the money somehow and paid the hotel, so the convention went on. So on Saturday, the main guest for the convention was Welcome to Night Vale, which, if you guys don't know, is a very popular podcast at the time. They did like sort of like horror type-esque like radio show. It was really cool. I was very into it. And they had a meet and greet scheduled and a live show scheduled. The meet and greet was raffled off. I won the raffle, so I got to go to the meet and greet in the afternoon. And then in the evening, it was a live show that you had to pay extra money for. You had to pay an extra $25 to get a ticket to go to the live show. So in the evening, a bunch of us were there, piled in, waiting for them to come on. They never came on. The convention was telling us they're upstairs in their hotel room. They hate you guys. They don't like their fans. That's why they're not coming down here. We have to pay them to get them to come down, but we can't get the money. And you know what? Good for them. Because again, the convention owners did not pay them to perform at the convention. So they did not perform. And I'm glad they did. I didn't, because like, fuck that. If you're not getting paid, then don't fucking do your work. So the convention, obviously people paid for the show, so they had to, you know, fix their error somehow, and pay people back for the money they spent. So they gave like a few trivial things. I don't even remember what they were, but the most notable, and the most meme-worthy, and most popular was they gave everyone an extra hour in the ball pit. Overall, everyone at the convention, con-goer-wise, was very nice. The convention itself was a shit show. I'm glad I went because it's a fun story to be able to tell. I met some cool people there. The conventions were great. Like the cosplays were great, not the convention. The convention was shit. But everyone just tried to make the best of a bad situation. And yeah, that was DashCon. But back to the actual. No one asked about shoelaces. No one asked about shoelaces at the con.
Fake Tumblr fans.
But back to the actual website portion of Tumblr. Michinoku. On April 1st in 2013, hundreds of users changed their profile pictures to a picture of Misha Collins, and if you don't know who that is, it's the actor who played the character Castiel in the show Supernatural. Many also posted many photos and edits of the actor, and the event even spread to Facebook and Twitter over the course of the day. Misha Collins was fucking everywhere. What was it like?
Oh no.
My God.
Oh no.
It was a nightmare. So every year, Tumblr does an April Fool's prank. And this one just happens to be my favorite one, so this is the one I'm going to talk about. In 2016, they did the April Fool's prank where the site hosted a lizard election. The candidates were as followed. We have Rick, trusted leadership, genuine Rick. Deborah, it's time for Deborah. Deborah seeks a two-way dialogue. Let's connect on social media. Mop, thanks for stopping by. And Wretched Tooth, join the true movement for freedom, justice, and prosperity. Stand up, stretch out, seek truth, and wake up. We don't need change, we need a revolution. Over the course of the day, you could vote for whichever candidate you feel represented you best. There was also a feature where you could make campaign posters featuring the candidates. They had blogs for the lizards where they could make like campaign posts, and they reported news about the election as it was happening. And there was even a scandal where it turned out that one of the lizards was actually a salamander. So who?
Oh, scandalous!
It was terrible. We were all devastated. So who won the election? Mop could. Mop did. Mop in 2016. but we all know who really should have won. Quotes! Impactful quotes or memes that originated from Tumblr. And no, I will not be explaining any of these. You probably recognize some of them, though. You can't kill me in any way that matters. Then perish. I came out to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling so attacked right now. Graphic design is my passion. Spider's George is an outlier and should not have been counted. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And don't talk to me or my son ever again. Do you love the color of the sky?
Oh,
All right, here we go.
Long journey.
You're having a negative effect on the audience today.
Oh god, the view count. No, 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 no.
Which one? A photo set that was unreasonably long and made you scroll forever. Everyone hated it. It was the fucking worst. But it became the subject of many parody posts, where they would lead you to believe that it was the post at first, but then end early with some other subject or joke. I want you to know that when I was making this slide, it took me at least 45 minutes to put all that together, and it took over like 23 images.
Nice.
God.
That post was ridiculously long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super Wholock. A crossover of the three mega fandoms Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. Many fans on Tumblr had a username that took elements from all three shows and were sometimes very long. Some users would get annoyed with the fandom for hijacking posts with several GIFs from the show. The fandom's peak popularity was early 2013 to 2014. As you can see with this example, the fandom had GIFs for fucking everything because Supernatural, Doctor Who were all super long shows. They had a lot of context. Any post that was made, they basically had a GIF that could reference that post. So they were just fucking everywhere. And with this example, you can see the format on Tumblr. I know I say it weird.
You say it correctly.
Okay.
Let's not split hairs.
The format on Tumblr posts used to be really weird, where it would have the username first, and then it would have a line where it would have the dialogue or whatever the person had posted. And if you reposted that and added something to it, it would add your username at the top of the post, and then a line down to the post being underneath it. Which, when you added 50 GIFs to a post, made it a big arc and very annoying to both scroll through, because you'd have to go through 50 usernames and then 50 GIFs. And sometimes people would post so much stuff on a single post that the original text would just be one letter per line. It was bad. Let me tell you about Homestuck. Homestuck is a webcomic by Andrew Hussey about a group of 4 teens who plan to play a game that brings about the end of the world. They come into contact with a group of internet trolls who they work with to create a new universe by completing the game. It has a complex and non-linear plot and includes flash animations, minigames, pages with chat logs and images. I used to be a big Homestuck. I was very into Homestuck. My favorite thing about Homestuck was that because the comic updated randomly, and there was no telling how much important or unimportant content you would get with each update, it created this kind of update culture. There was even a program you could download where a little pop-up would show up on your computer whenever the comic updated so that you could immediately go and read it.
Awesome.
Whenever there was an update, people would rush to create fan art, cosplays, edits, everything they could think of based on the update. It was like a perfect storm, and I don't think I've ever seen many there's never been a fandom equivalent to Homestuck in that type of culture that I've ever seen. The Dream SMP, I actually think, comes really close, because people will stream randomly at odd times, drop huge lore, sometimes not important lore, little things. It has a very similar feel to Homestuck with the update culture, and I do really appreciate that, because it was just really cool to see that about Homestuck. But also the fandom was fucking everywhere, and they were menaces to society. I was a menace to society. Other popular fandoms. There was a lot of other fandoms that were very popular, had a lot of prevalence. I'm not going to read them. These were just some of the ones I thought of. Moving on. The Tumblr Sexy Man. What is a Tumblr Sexy Man? The character is typically a white, skinny, cis. And if they're not human, they'll be drawn like a white, skinny, cis human. Typically, they have some evil or villainous traits. They typically wear dapper clothing or are depicted with it in humanization. Usually, the shipping the character is difficult due to character constrictions in the source material, with other characters being like children or family or lack of other characters. It kind of creates a vacuum where people want to ship the said character, so they make several AUs, and frequently the character is shipped with themselves. There's a ton of Ask blogs, which are blogs where the character is role-played. They answer questions and interact with both the community and other Ask blogs. And typically they're based on the various AUs that people make for these characters. The character popularity explodes, and they're just basically fucking everywhere. Examples of the Tumblr Sexy Man. The Onceler. Rotten candidate. Wow, rude. Prime candidate and most notable example of the Tumblr Sexy Man. When you think of the Tumblr Sexy Man, this is typically what people think of and reference. Wheatley from Portal. An early example, but one that I came across a lot in my time on Tumblr. He was usually depicted as a dapper, skinny, blonde man. Tony the Clock from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Also humanized to a skinny white man with dark hair and face paint to illustrate his clock features. Gonna be honest, I loved his character. I thought he was really cool. I love Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Return of Wheatley.
Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. He was also typically depicted as a tall, skinny, white, dapper, blonde man. And then honorable mention. I'm not doing that. Alistair from Has Been Hotel. He's a newer example. He was listed in some of my research about this, but I've not been on Tumblr recently enough, frequently enough to know how they react to him and stuff like that. But I'm convinced that if Has Been Hotel was popular a few years earlier, he would have been everywhere. And then honorable mentions. Night blogging was the act of blogging at night, usually between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. It was basically just shitposting. Everyone was very weird, said very incoherent things. It was very, very wild. It was just a weird time. Post limit, which I guess Tumblr has again. But in the early days of the website, there was like a limit on how many posts you could make in a day, where like even with reblogging, you could only post like 250 or 300 things. So a lot of people would have like second and thirds accounts. So if their main account reached post limit, they would use the other account. I very specifically remember them taking that away at some point. However, when I was looking it up, there apparently is still a post limit to this day. So I don't know if I'm misremembering that, or if they just re-added it in. But I remember that being a huge problem when people would want to post like 900 things in a day and they were limited to 300. And then the color of the dashboard, which is something I very, very specifically remember. But again, I can't find anything about it. Every so often, Tumblr would change the shade of blue on the background of the website. And everyone would lose their fucking minds. I don't know why. They would compare the blues, and they would be like, this new one is shit, this one is terrible. Why do people like, why did they change it? I can't stand this. They would download browser extensions to change the blue back to the old blue.
Oh my god.
It was insane. It was crazy. Put it back. It was, oh my god. I don't know why people were so obsessed with the old blue, but they would change it like maybe every 2 years. And every time they would change it, it was the same reaction. Every time. And thank you. That is my presentation on tumblr.com.
Yay.
Oh shit.
someone who's been on as someone who's been on Tumblr since like 7th grade, greatly appreciated. You did it justice.
Thank you. I tried my best. I really tried to capture the atmosphere of Tumblr with this.
I'll say, I have a question off the bat.
Yes.
When you were at DashCon, did you know in the moment when you were there that you were a part of history, or did that kind of come a little bit afterwards?
A little of both, because on Saturday when all the shit hit the fan, it blew up on Tumblr, and it kind of hurt. Like, I was trying to stay away from the website because a lot of people were being like, if you're at this convention, you're stupid, you're an idiot, why would you go to this, blah blah blah, like just saying a lot of really hurtful and mean things. A lot of people were threatening to like come and attack people at the convention. At the time that this happened, there was a huge beef between Tumblr.com and 4chan for some reason. So Anonymous was threatening to come and attack the convention, and like the threat of physical violence over this event was really kind of daunting. So it was definitely kind of intimidating, but yeah.
Question from the chat. If you had to kill a Tumblr head or post, which would it be?
Jesus Christ.
Color of the Sky. Fucking hate it. It was the worst.
That needed to go.
I didn't even like the memes. It was just, the entire thing would infuriate me. Every time I saw it, I was just like, ugh, go away. The Tumblr ads can stay forever. I love them. They live rent-free in my brain.
Did you go in the ball pit? That's my question.
I did not.
Oh.
I did not, because I know I didn't do it the first day, and then someone told me that someone peed in the ball pit, so I was like, yeah, I think I'll stay away from that.
They should put chemicals in the ball pit that make it change the color you pee in it.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
When you mentioned Homestuck, I thought you were gonna mention the Sharpie bath incident, and you just didn't.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You know what? I forgot about that, but.
Oh, how? God, I wish that was me.
Okay, so honorable mention story now. The Sharpie bath. So a story from a Tumblr user talking about how they had a room for a convention, right? And they needed someone else to stay with them, money reasons, right? And they like had a friend who was like, hey, I know this person, they're pretty cool, do you want to stay with them? And they were like, yeah, sure. So they invited this person, didn't really know them that well, just knew kind of like their name, and they had a mutual friend. And the person was cosplaying a Homestuck character. And they were like, okay, I'm going to go get ready, right, whatever. And then they went to the bathroom, and they were in there for a long time, like an hour, hour and a half. And everyone else is trying to get in cosplay, trying to get ready. And they're like, they've been in there for a long time. Like, are they okay? What's going on? Like, we need to use the bathroom. So they knock on the door, and I think they end up going inside. And the person was taking a fucking bath in Sharpie. Like, they had just filled the bathtub, put Sharpies with, like, so the Sharpie ink would get in the tub, and they were taking a bath in the Sharpie ink to gray their skin for the troll cosplay.
What?
Yep.
The trolls were a menace.
Oh boy.
Can confirm there was face paint everywhere at that time. People cosplaying the trolls wouldn't seal their paint, right? There would just be makeup all over elevators, all over like stairs, everywhere, walls. So I think some conventions actually banned face paint because of the terror that was the Homestucks.
The Homestucks can't be stopped.
Oh my god, it was everywhere. It was so bad.
I have one final question for you, Sid, and then for anyone else who has an answer. If you were a Tumblr post, what Tumblr post would you be? I personally...
I would be the ads.
The ads is a good one. I would be the weed-smoking girlfriend.
I was gonna say the weed-smoking girlfriends. Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god. Oh, that's a good question.
I don't want to copy you. I personally was going to say the weed-smoking girlfriends. But
I'll change my answer, because there's another one that I like.
For the reconsideration, I wouldn't mind being don't ever talk to me or my son ever again. That really speaks to me personally.
Speaking of that, I'm going to jump back to this, speaking about this, and answer your question with one of the quotes.
Oh, nice.
You can't kill me in a way that matters.
Oh my god, so
is a shit post about fungus. It's someone talking to a mushroom. Someone talking to a mushroom that's like and he's threatening to kill the mushroom, and the mushroom says, "You can't kill me in a way that matters."
It's such a good post.
It is. All
Whew.
right.
Well, claps.
Claps.
Again.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, poetic is the chat
Poetic.
saying.
You have such a way with words. I was really moved by the entire presentation.
Oh,
Like
I'm so
tearing
glad.
up right now.
I have so many pictures of Misha Collins saved on my computer.
Oh my god.
That was
Made me-
the most nightmarish thing about this.
Misha
Made me feel like I
Apocalypse
was in high
forever
school again.
immortalized in your iCloud.
Oh my god.
As he should be.
All right. And next we have Sean.
Hey.
It's me. I'm gonna share my screen now.
I can't wait to experience this.
At a
I'm
measly
ready for
15
this.
frames per second. So I hope you can endure that. As you can see from this title card, this is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart, something I'm very passionate about, something that I really want to get off my chest and show you guys. So, I don't want to waste any time. So, wait, actually, maybe any questions? Anybody got questions for me?
Yes.
How long did it take you to make this?
I'd say, anywhere between 2, 6, minutes. So not a lot of time, just because I was so passionate, I can get it off my chest really quick. I just had a
have
lot
one
to say, and I can type pretty fast. So, what's your
Uh,
question?
I want to say, would this PowerPoint, its subject, would this be the most important thing in your life, you would say?
This would probably be something that if I don't die tonight, I will die later in my life defending.
Okay.
So, if anybody wants to schedule a scrap afterward, if you're not happy with what I have ready for you here, then, well,
Which letter on the screen?
on this screen would you kill? Definitely T. I think it's overstaying its welcome. I think that T gets too much of a good ride. It's in too many words. So, I think spill the tea. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. So, of course, it didn't go. Of course, we have Dungeons for Dragons, a tabletop playing for roles activity. A top of table playing of roles activity. I'm sorry, I'm getting all mixed up on my words because I'm so excited. As you can tell, we have Saiyans here because skeletons is a vital part of Dungeons for Dragons. If there aren't skeletons in your dungeons, then the dragons won't be happy. What is Dungeons for Dragons? Now, you gotta keep in mind that we're really loose with the words here. Dungeons and Dragons is a combative role-playing game that makes you question what is real and what isn't. You're told not to trust any chairs or chests in case they're mimics, and you live in horror afterwards, always waiting for one to attack you IRL, in real lettuce tomato. You also wonder if you're actually fighting with your friends. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever done much of Dungeons for Dragons, but when you're at the table with your friends, you have struggles. You're in this together, but that always causes friction. There's always drama at the table you have to work with. So whether it's a shitty internet connection or around a tiny card table in someone's basement, it's a great bonding and friendship breaking experience. It's a lot like Mario Kart Monopoly in that way, Anyway, if you want to play, it's very simple. You just need to make a character, roll some dice, and take 30 minutes on just your turn in combat. That way everybody else can really absorb what it is that you're doing and think about what it is they're going to do on their turn. If you're going too fast, no one has time to think and people die. And you know what? After that, you'll be one of the pros in no time. Oh, I apologize. Any questions on this slide? No questions?
None at all.
I'm glad you asked. Dice. All D&D is played with about 13 dice. That's right, 13. One for each of the platonic solids. But you can add more later if you want. We're not here to control what dice you use for. As you can see, we have dice with letters, we have dice with pips, we have dice that look like diamonds, and we've got what looks to be the time travel device from in-game. But you can add more later if you want, like I said. The best dice are the ones with pictures or words as they tell you what to do. You don't want to use numbers. Numbers are too abstract. You want something like what they use in Family Guy in that one episode with Peter Griffin and Lois Griffin, where they roll the dice and figure out what they want to do next. Like put in butt, That's what D&D is all about. It's about putting in butt or whatever else the dice say. You know if you have a good set of dice, if every time you roll it, it lands in the same number or word. If it lands in the same number, it's reliable. You don't want randomness in the game. If you have randomness, you don't know where it's going to go, and it's not as exciting because you can't prepare for it. If it rolls different numbers too often, it's too unpredictable, and that's always an issue. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What's your
Sure, go ahead.
dice to use?
My favorite dice? I'm glad you asked. Choosing your race. There are multiple amazing races in D Dollars Dragons. Here are some examples. Warforged. Elementals that are based off bionicles made from synthetic material. Now, those are very, very different from Bioforged. Mechanical standard D&D races made of materials like metal or wood. So you might think one is made of elementals like iron and titanium, but the other one's made of metal or wood. Completely different things. There's also the Homo sapien, a generic class for those who wish to be boring. You always want to be a Homo sapien because it's the most predictable, right? We were just talking about this with the dice. If things aren't predictable, you can't play right. There's also Frog, the best class. The best ones are blue, but they call them in all sorts of colors. Violet, red, black, diamond, if you go by Pokemon colors. You'll see on the right here, we have Baby Yopo. He's a little tadpole. That's what adult frogs look like. They start off with a bunch of legs, and they eventually evolve into fish, as all beings should be. There's also Legolas, a pointy-eared, sexy, long-haired bowman. Now, Miguel, you're quite familiar with this, right? You're a long-haired, pointy-eared, sexy bowman. Tell us a little bit about your experiences.
I like shooting.
Thank you so much. There's also Hannah, just a gremlin, a true H. H stands for Hell Girl. There's the minus there because there's also positive Hell Girls, but that's a whole different thing we can go into. And there's also female long-haired redheads, which is a Joe exclusive. If your name's not Joe, you can't play female long-haired redheads. Examples of female long-haired redheads would be like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Luke Skywalker's a big one. And there's also Yopo. He's a frog, but also a female long-haired redhead. Any questions on this slide?
I don't think so.
I need questions to move on, guys. Come on.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite race?
I'm glad you asked. How to choose your class. Now, you got to keep in mind that the ass is capitalized. It stands for Assembling Sapien Sentient. I know it sounds very complicated. D&D always seems more complicated than it actually is when you play. But when you get to the table, it makes sense, especially if you're playing with your friends. Here's a little shorthand list of the available classes to choose from in D&D. Dee, of course, the character from Dexter's Lab, his sister. She's a good example because you always know she's going to come and fuck things up. Just like your friends will when, I don't know, they crit the monster that you have set up here that you think is going to be an awesome encounter, and then you have nothing to go for the rest of the combat. That's not speaking from personal experience, but you got the Battler, good for battle, classic. The Rager, best class when you're upsetting spaghetti. Upsetting spaghetti is an extremely complex concept in D&D. I don't want to go in that here. This is supposed to be an intro. So there's also Priest. Is it Sunday yet? Priest you can only play on Sundays, which is why we have all of our D&D sessions either the day of Sunday or late Saturday night. That way it rolls into it, and people who play Priest can actually play the game. There's a Ninja when you want to be the next Hokage. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, but there's this whole concept of the Hokage, someone who can collect the One Piece and become the king of all Danganronpas. Again, another complex concept that I don't want to get too much into. There's the Arrow. Don't pick this one. Miguel can tell you as being a long-haired bowman. Musician. Personally, I think it's a good use for this class to abuse persuasion as some sort of mind control on your own party members. There are skills in this game such as persuasion, and if you get a die that always rolls a 20, you can pretty much tell anybody to do whatever the fuck you want, whether they're players or otherwise. This is kind of the big thing that destroys your friendships when you're playing, because if you just persuade them to do whatever they want, your friends will get pissed at you. But that's the name of the game, which is why there's also the Oh Holy Night. The stars are brightly shining. Environmentalist, classic tree-hugging hippies. That's all one line. I don't know why I have the dash there, but the Oh Holy Knights are tree-hugging hippies who are really there to bring the light to everyone who might be upset because you used your bard, or I'm sorry, musician. There's different names for these things. You'll understand once you get into the actual game. Where you take control of everybody, but the All Holy Knight's there to say, hey guys, we're all friends. Let's all smoke some weed and just be happy, you know? There's the sorcerer, uses spell. Also, philosopher and Britosh. There's the monk, uses spells, but in a Mike Tyson style. There's the wizard, uses spells, but also dies. And then there's the warlock, who uses spells called Eldritch Blast. They're all called Eldritch Blast. You might use Eldritch Blast, or you might use Magic Eldritch Blast, which automatically hits and does 1d4 damage. Or you might do Fire Eldritch Blast, which blows up and kills your entire party. Another great example of someone who you can kill your party with. That's what the All Holy Knight is there. There's the engineer, when you have a degree, like I do in mathematics. And there's the hemophiliac. Matt Mercer, never heard of him. A hemophiliac is someone who they really like hymns. They like speaking and singing hymns to the party so that they can calm them down. They're there if you don't have an Oh Holy Night. Because if you don't have drugs, you have music. Any questions on this slide?
No question.
Sure.
What devil fruit did Sasuke eat to go Super Saiyan?
I'm glad you asked. Character building. This goes into the whole Sasuke thing. To create a character, you must roll dice to figure out your stats. Roll a d17 13 times and choose the best numbers for your character. We don't want any bad stats here, because if you have bad stats, then we got to kick you out of the game because we can't have fun. Lower is better, obviously. You want higher stats to be out of the game. You want lower stats to be in the game. Because it means there's less of a chance to hit. Because if you can't hit, nothing happens, no one gets upset. And that's the name of the game. You want to have this balance of people being upset and people not being upset. If you're the Oh Holy Knight, you really want to have those low stats so that you can bring everybody else down with you, you know? If a number has double digits, you can choose just the first or second digit at the demon's permission. Now, obviously, you're going to want to go with the 1. If you don't get double digits, then you're probably going to get kicked out. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. So good examples of characters with low stats is this mustachioed broad at the bottom left, or the bottom right. I say broad because of his broad shoulders. You can see they go off the screen, like maybe he cast long arm on himself and he's regretting his decision. Once you choose 7 stats, you can slot into 8 modifier thingies. Now, I know it's confusing. There's 7 stats and there's 8 modifiers. But the cool thing is that you can choose one of those stats and apply it to all 8 modifiers if you like. 2 of them have to share the same number. At least 2 of them. You know, all of them could be the same. They could be different. And of course, those stats are Wisdom. Wisdom is your ability to perceive things, your ability to read people. Dexterity is your ability to be agile, dodge things, move quickly. Philanthropy, your ability to have sex. Intelligence, your ability to remember things well and read books. Strength, you might think that's your ability to lift things and pull things, but it's your ability to talk poorly. Because if you talk poorly, the rest of your party doesn't understand what you're doing, and everybody's upset. Oh shit, I apologize. I have to pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, as someone who plays Danganronpa and Dragons, I really think that this is like a solid presentation. It's always fun for me to like, you know, get to know like other people through the game. We have lost a few players due to incidents which I'm not allowed to describe, but you know.
All right, do you have any questions?
Yeah, there's a question from chat. Hannah asks, do you love the color of the sky?
Oh yeah, Sid, can you pull up your PowerPoint real quick? I want to show you which picture I like the most.
No.
All right, well, I'm glad you asked. Characters died if they're killed. This is a very, very complex concept. I really want to walk through this word by word. Characters. Now, characters they can be letters, as we demonstrated in the first slide. Obviously, the letter T needs to go, but characters also means other things. You know Sasuke from Dragon Ball Z, who's trying to become the Hokage, who's trying to get the One Piece. Those are characters. Now, you got to be very careful with your characters because you don't want someone who actually wants to be a team player. You want your character to be someone like Sasuke, who will run off with his cursed blades and try and kill Cell by himself. And everybody's in love with this character. Everyone loves this character. If not everyone loves your character, they can't stand your bullshit excuse of not going along with the party with all their schemes, right? So you got to make sure everybody loves them, just like everyone loves Sasuke. Die. I think this one's pretty simple. A die is what you roll at the table. So characters die. They roll dice. That's what happens. If. Now, what is if? What is if not an opportunity? You understand? An if is your opportunity to roll a die. But you got to make sure that it's a die that always rolls the same number. Because otherwise, they. Enough said. R. Like the letter R, but also the word R, as in R's. R. Edgelord. R. Sasuke. R. Zoro. They're all R's. You'll notice the letters are red because of communism. It's all R's. Everything. Killed. Any questions on this slide? Please ask questions.
I have a question. Have you ever died?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. Examples of great backstories. Fish.
What?
I want you to look at all these slides. I'm going to go through you one by one. I want to tell you what is one thing that's shared between all these slides. Shu, can you start?
Honestly, they all have a great backstory. That's what I think they all have in common.
That's a really good guess, but that's wrong. Sorry, Mud, do you have a guess?
Yeah, I see a lot of I see a lot of you know, life in this image. So I'm gonna say life.
Oh, and you know, I can see where you're coming from. That's also wrong. Miguel?
I'm guessing that you want
Wrong.
your character...
Code, what do you see in these pictures?
One word. Vor.
Damn it.
Vor! There we go. That is also incorrect. Sid,
bet
what do you see in these pictures?
The lack of hats.
The lack of hats. I don't really know why you guys didn't get this. I thought it was pretty simple. I thought I was making it obvious what was going on in all of these. But you know what? I guess this slide was a waste.
Credit.
Half credit?
Half credit for me. I mean, they all share an example. They're all great backstories.
I feel like you guys really aren't. I'm just going to move on from this slide. An example of a weak, awful, awful backstory. What is going on in this picture, Sid?
My backstory.
That's
and
correct.
I'm insulted that you would put this in here.
That is correct. Sid, can you explain what your backstory is in this picture?
No, quite frankly, I'm a little embarrassed.
All right, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. So what's going on in this picture? Well, you see, I'm just a blue grung. That's all I am from where I come from. Just a blue grung. I thought it was my duty to protect my people and learn how to protect my community. I served under the Red Grungs as an acolyte. Well, they're acolytes, but I learned a little bit about what was going on with them. But my sister was not a blue grung. She was gold. She was a gold grung. And a gold grung means... Okay, well, I think this has gone on long enough.
Sounds like a pretty terrible
Any
character.
questions on this?
Yeah, why does that character sound so terrible?
I'm glad you asked. Role-playing. He lacked role-playing. That's the issue. Remember, no fantasy RPG is complete without a healthy dose of role-playing. What does role-playing mean? It's when you roll blunts at the table. If you're not rolling blunts at the table, you're not playing drugs and dementia. Now, what is playing? Well, that could be anything. You need players at the table, don't you? Pimps. That's one sort of player. You can see T'Challa there because he is the ultimate pimp. You tell me one woman in Wakanda who would not want to be with T'Challa. One. Give me a name, please.
Sister.
All right. Also known as kneading. In some cultures, this beautiful act of creation is one of the most important steps in creating bread that is both silky and soft, while simultaneously holding a firm structure. Who here knows about bread?
Me?
Bread is best food.
Could you please explain bread to me?
Best food.
It's
I copy
easy.
and pasted this from the Wikipedia, and I still don't understand. Miguel, please.
breadsticks from Pizza Hut are really good. So if
That's
you
why I'm
want-
asking you. You seem to have a lot of experience with breadsticks, and I just want you to explain to me what the fuck is it?
It's
I can
yeast.
explain it.
Oh yeah, go
Shoot,
ahead.
please.
Go ahead.
Alright, so breadsticks, or as they're also known as bread, is basically the concept of time is non-existent.
Oh.
That makes
Remember
sense.
to choose your favorite type of dough when role playing. It's important to pick your dough. Why, Sue? Since you know bread so well.
Oh, it's important to pick your dough because if you don't pick your dough, then, time actually becomes existent, and we don't want that.
Yeah, that's not good. And also, if you pick pretzel dough, your time might get all twisted.
Yeah.
My favorite's challah bread because it reminds me of T'Challa. As I said previously, this all goes into each other. You need a pimp like T'Challa to get your bread for you because T'Challa knows where the bread bitches be. You understand? Wakanda forever. Am I right? Any questions on this one?
What's your favorite type of bread?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. The DM. The DM is my favorite type of bread. What does DM stand for? Let's see if we can learn from this slide. The Dungeon Maestro. That's just one demonstration of Dungeon Maestro for DM. Ever rolls dice. If he ever rolls dice, or they, as we said earlier, characters killed if they are killed. I'm sorry, die. I can't believe I messed up a classic quote like that. It means they hate you or are trying to murder you. That's just the plain facts of it. If the Dungeon Maestro rolls dice, they're trying to murder you. Your goal as a player is to make sure you roll all the dice. Because when you roll the dice, you're in control. And if you're not rolling dice, you can't persuade the other party members into killing each other and ruining everybody's night like you're supposed to. This is a Sunday, goddammit. We're not supposed to have fun. The situation can be difficult to maneuver. So you should either try to kill God himself or just quit and never play with this group again. I recommend the latter because when you're DM, you are God. It stands, after all, for deity man. That's what it stands for. At least that's what it is at my table. You'll see this little snippet here on the right to demonstrate what I'm talking about. There are two things I know about D&D players. One, they love making characters. Two, they hate when the DM starts rolling dice for no reason. And I have to... Oh, fuck, I have to pee. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Any questions?
Have you ever killed God?
I'm glad you asked. There's this slide.
Oh no.
Let me go ahead and read it for you. Can Athak actually read a neck of did Athak Zal as Nadra Isirk as translate ill? If Rum Cirque da Secret Oz D&D Tolaz always surprised everyone, include Doraz yourself. Kalu Nathak don't learn your Kareth skills, Nard, abilities, Din Kezin E session. Athak won't Salaz, worry about spoileros. Yourself, Mord, Ramal, Itha Plaros. Can anybody tell me what language this is?
This is Klingon, obviously.
Dude, no, what the hell? This is obviously... Okay, I'm Mexican-American. I can say that this is definitely Spanish, if not Spanish, Portuguese. They look very similar, you know?
Any suggestions on what we should write here?
I like your shoelaces.
Oh yeah, do that one.
Yeah.
All right, I like your shoelaces. The like your shoelaces. Let's go ahead and go for the reciprocal of that. Thanks. I stole them from the president. Thanks. The stole them from the president. It's very similar to English, this language. Let me try a classic one. Now, this obviously means a lot coming from this. And it's an important phrase that we all need to remember. Characters die if they are killed. Characters die, Kulin, they have killed. Remember that. Say it with me. Characters die, colon, they are killed. Okay, one more time.
Characters die, colon, they are killed.
There we go. I'm glad everybody's on the same page here. Let's go back to my PowerPoint. We've got a few more here. Oh, actually, I apologize. Any questions?
Den Kizen E-Session?
Thank you so much for that question. I'm glad you asked. Battling. In Dungeons & Dragons, you will sometimes have to fight other enemies. It may be a monster, a character, a dragon master, or even other players, especially other players. We'll get to that in a moment. It is always a fight to the death. Your stats determine the outcome. You roll a d17 against the enemy's d17. The lower number wins, as that means they didn't hit you. And then roll a predetermined number of alphabet dice. Now you want to roll alphabet dice because if you roll on a T, you die, just like that fucking letter should. This is decided and agreed upon before the battle. The letter coincides with the damage you do. A means awesome, B means bad, T means cunt, and so on and so forth. It all goes like that. It's like a 5th grade grammar. All of these words you could find any 10-year-old kid saying. Awesome, bad, cunt, Norwegian. If you or the enemy takes 3 or more negative letters of damage, that person loses. Now, what is a negative letter, you may ask? Well, a negative letter is a letter that is in your name. Because all names are negative, and we should be using code names, like we do in real life. Sid doesn't go by Sid because that's his name. He goes by Sid because that's his username on Twitch. Sidious, with 2 eyes. You call him Sid, he'll die in sunlight. It might be because he's a vampire, but also because you said his name. We also got Shu. I don't think that's your real name. Mud. I don't know. Miguel. Definitely not your real name. That's ridiculous. In code. These are all usernames. I obviously go by Stratos because if everybody called me Sean, I'd wither away into dust. That's just how it is. Also, always be careful when moving into an enemy's range, as they will use their reaction to form an attack of opportunity against you. Everyone is an
Hello?
Oh, thank God. Okay. Someone said my name in chat, and I was withering away until Sid corrected them.
Okay.
Any questions in this slide?
Yeah, what happens when a mom and dad love each other very much?
I'm glad you asked. Weapons. D over D, there are many types of items you can fight with, particularly mom and dad items, but we'll get to that in a moment. Here are 5 of the best weapons you can get. A dull butter knife, the classic weapon of the barbecue dad. You want to butter my biscuit? That's what moms and dads say when they love each other a lot. Gaslight, the classic maneuver from the manipulative mother. I say manipulative not because they gaslight you, but because they cook with gaslight, and that just leads to worse food, and that ruins your life. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Get stabbed. You ran into my knife. Are you okay? I'm sorry. You think I hurt you. Man, better watch where you're walking next time. Classic gaslighting maneuver. You see, when you're cooking with gas stoves, you only cook human flesh. That's just the case. If you're using a gas stove, you're a cannibal. Eraser. Nothing hurts more than being told you didn't say what you actually said. This is classic. This is absolutely classic. I don't think I need to elaborate. Paper. Paper cut. Enough said. I need to elaborate on this one. Now, paper is made from wood. What does wood come from? Trees. Where do trees come from? The dirt. Where does dirt come from? The elements. Remember the elemental class we mentioned earlier? That has nothing to do with this. I just really like that class. Now, paper is a mulch of wood, which means you can't actually just cut down a tree and get paper. There's a whole process involved. If you're anti-GMO, don't use paper. If you're against vaccines, don't use paper, because that is processed material. And processed things will kill you. Paper cuts. Now it's enough said. Nail clippers. Y'all ever cut too far down when cutting your nails? That shit fucking hurts. You ever seen that scene from Black Swan where she peels back the skin of her finger? Classic stuff. That is the maneuver. That's the one I fall back on. Because, well, I bite my nails all the time, and it's a really nasty habit. And I think I've grown an immunity to that pain. I just sort of live in that suffering with my finger skin peeling off. And I look at it, and I think, why does it look so tasty? Is it because my mom cooked on a gas stove and made me a cannibal? Any questions on this slide?
How does human flesh taste?
I'm glad you asked. Battle maps. This doesn't answer your question. I just wanted to move on, and that was a great segue. In D&D, you have to follow the rules and make sure combat lasts at least 4 hours. Look, this is a Saturday night. We can play all the way until Sunday night. That's what we're here for. We only have one day to play because your bullshit friend wants to play a holy night and you actually want, or a priest, my apologies, I got things mixed up. It's all similar to me. They want to play priest and you have to play on Sunday because of their fucking schedule. I don't know. Maybe I should stop playing with elementary schoolers. The battle map always allows everyone to be on semi-adjacent pages where everyone is located. You can see where everyone is at all times. Typically, it's sectioned into 143.761 centimeter squares. That's square centimeters, of course. And if you're not European, that's probably about 5 feet-ish. Normal characters can only reach another character or enemy within 1 square. So you have to be within about 5 feet of each other. This is classic Dungeons & Dragons. A superior character can attack literally anywhere they desire because fuck you. You have to understand that as a player, it's your job to always be in the spotlight. If someone else is in the spotlight, if someone else has a turn, you must talk over them. You must do their turn for you. If someone else is taking their own turn, you're failing as a player. This is why the persuasion skill is so useful. Because if you use the persuasion skill, you can take over someone else's turn as they go. And you know what? That's what we're here for, baby. We're here to dominate one another. I have a BDMSM slide I was working on. I'll see if it's in the slide somewhere. You'll notice that there is a map on the right. You play on hexes about the size of various fields. You determine where you go by rolling the dice. You roll, like we said, a D17. But there's only spaces that go from 2 to 12 on the board. So if you roll something above those numbers, then you don't get anywhere. That's why high numbers are so bad. You want low numbers because there's way more low numbers than there are big numbers. Like, think about it. What is 17 if not just 17 ones? It just adds up. Any questions on this slide?
What's your favorite D17 number?
I'm glad you asked. Adding dating sim, not clickbait. This has a lot to do with my favorite number, and you'll see why in a moment. Dung for Dragons also has a feature where you play as a human in a whimsical world where everyone else is a dragon, but you. I know you've seen the art. I know you've seen the art. And I know what you do when you see that art online. Miguel, I'm talking to you.
No, I mean, go on with your presentation.
I will. You will then have the chance to romance the dragons if you roll a 69 on the D100. That's a typo. That should be a D101. I don't know what happened. The D101 is a 101-sided dice that has every letter from every alphabet exactly once on it. That costs $8,000 and smokes weed in your bathroom constantly. Role-playing, like I said earlier. You can only purchase on eBay from sellers with a rating of 80% or below, as high-quality sellers value their customers' quality of life. eBay is fantastic for D&D, because when you go on eBay, you're already losing your life. And that's what D&D is here for, to lose your life more. It's essentially a soft relief from the pain that is existence. You no longer have to chew on your nails. You no longer have to worry about role-playing. You no longer have to worry about humans, because you have dragons here to befriend. You might notice there's a character on the side here. His name is Scrungus. I love Scrungus. I'm not afraid to say it. Me and Scrungus go way back. Way back. Any questions on this slide?
Is Scrungus single?
I don't have control on the server. Sid, can you please kick Miguel from the voice chat?
No.
Please.
No. I'm not adhering to any of your requests today.
I'm glad you asked, Miguel. There's a dialogue box here to sort that out. Flair the Toasty. Oh my. Could it be you're craving my cake? Many men have died trying to get a taste of these scrumptious cakes. I thought it was another dialogue box.
That answers my question.
Sean, you know what to say. Don't be a coward. Thank you, Sean. I needed to hear that. You see, what is this scene that you see in front of you? You might think this is a courtroom. The man's holding a small hammer. A very small hammer. To which I can relate. But there's a giant staff in the background. What does the staff represent? Shu, what does the staff represent?
I think the staff represents our say in things. It's blocked off, so we have no say in anything here.
That's correct. That's why it says, Sean, you know what to say. And what does it have to say? Nothing. And for the end here, I think it's important that we watch this.
Dude, that was.
Do you understand?
Amazing.
That's so sick.
I understand everything now. My eyes have been opened.
That brought a tear to my eye.
I'm glad. Okay, quick intermission because this is when the PowerPoint topic might be getting a bit stale, or maybe Sean's delivery just isn't the best. Wow, okay. Thanks, Sean. We all make mistakes, especially Sean. But to mix things up, I'd like to give spoilers for campaign Hannah, that's my other name, and am running that Sean will be playing in soon. First off, the characters all wake up in a room together and told they have been paired up to be a group team to go fight a tournament together. Turns out they've all died, and they're all trying to battle their way out of hell. And the first stage is a group victory. If they lose, then they get their memories wiped and have to start again. But as they continue to fight and win, they keep having newer waves with other players being more and more desperate to win. It's going to tug on their moral strings. They could either choose to break out, which OP guards will shut down and they restart, or continue this through. Eventually, they will even have to fight one-on-one, but partially into the first fight, a rebellion starts, and the players must then choose: stop the rebellion to break out of the hell they're in. What? Break out of hell in the way they are intended? Join the rebellion and free all the people they've been killing? Or join the guards and help trap people here and watch for their entertainment? It's pretty dark. This is pretty crazy, Sean. I'm glad I made this up. Assuming they choose to rebel, a huge war starts with a bunch of citizens in the audience caught in between it all. AoEs will kill people, and they are very much not dead. If they can beat everyone and get out, they become the head of the hell arenas and will get to choose to end it or take over forever here. If anyone loses, they go back to the waiting room and can run back out to join the fight. Okay, that's all, Sean. You're the worst if you just spoiled yourself. I can't believe you did this, Sean. Any questions?
How long are the transitions between slides?
I'm glad you asked.
My fucking god.
Perfection.
Ranking my characters based on how good they are at. Mario Party.
No.
Oh my
god. God. Why?
bottom tier is Yopo. He's in the breakout room. I don't know what that means. I was drunk when I made this. Kim K's crying face. That's Rovan, of course, because he has Kim K's crying face. The bad sequel. Of course, there we have Oz and Ashlyn. Look at those sweet boys just looking at the camera. They don't know what they're doing, and they have 0 stars, but they're having a good time. Warm chocolate chip cookies on a winter day is Freshly. Freshly is also in the Harry Styles tier because I couldn't, separate them. Freshly is just too good at Mario Party and everything for that matter. Freshly is probably the best at everything in D&D. There's also Correa and Elijah in the Harry Styles tier. I think it's because they look like Harry Styles. Like I said, I was drunk when I made this slide. So I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking that drunk Sean doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about and really should get a day job. All right, guys. I need you to be part of this quiz. We're going to go around and I'm going to need each of you to match what name goes to which character. First, we'll start with Cassie. Shu, could you point out which of the numbers Cassie goes to?
Actually, this is a trick question. They're all named Harry Styles. I hate to break it to you.
That's correct. Moving on. Next, I'd like to share this 8-hour video of a one-shot I DM'd.
There's unfortunately no audio.
That's very strange.
I want to hear
I
what's
think
happening.
it's supposed to be like that. I don't think there's supposed to be audio. Actually.
We can just make up our own audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we lip sync over this? Oh, arrow keys don't work. Yeah. So, hold on. Let's assign roles. I'll be me, of course. Sid, could you be Josh here in the top left corner?
Yeah, sure.
He's the one currently talking.
Okay.
Shu, you could be James.
Okay.
Miguel, you could be Lauren.
Cool.
Code, you could be Hannah. And Mud, you can be Scotty here. All right, let's go.
I forgot my name. Hi, I forgot my name, but I'm not talking.
Well, I am, so, you can stop.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. I'll just stop talking now. Yeah, I'll stop talking when someday. I'll stop talking eventually. Maybe
I'm laughing
sometime.
because something
I'm
hilarious.
laughing so hard.
I'm really enjoying the gray box on screen. I really think it,
Oh man,
I can't believe Sean just did
my
that.
This is such a shocking turn of events.
This
That's
is way
it. You can tell because I'm laughing so hard.
There we go.
Okay.
Wonderful job,
This was-
guys. Let's give them all a round of applause, chat, for the performance they just did. I didn't hear any of it because I can actually hear the audio of the YouTube video, but I'm probably best not having heard it. So let's move on. In conclusion, we're all D&D monsters.
beautiful.
And here are the cited works. I please clap.
No.
All right. Well, that was it, guys.
Yay!
Thank you so much for being part of my Shawasnawa's PowerPoint for A+, please.
Now you have to you have to answer all the questions now.
Yeah. I'm taking questions all over the place. What's your question, Miguel?
How unhinged did you feel when you made this?
I'm glad you asked. Shu, do you have a question?
How's your mental stability going right now?
I'm glad you asked, Sid.
Question from chat. Which slide in the presentation would you kill?
I'm glad you asked. All right, I think you're up, Mud.
I don't have any questions. I'm kind of just like, I feel like I've been left in like a state of shock and like just general disturbance. Like I feel concerned for me and everyone here.
Eyes?
No,
Are
I
the
just don't know
tears
what I'm
starting to
even
fall?
doing right now. I feel like I just had like a fever dream. I feel like I kind of just like
I didn't. I
blacked
understood
out.
everything. What? Did you not understand any of this? Come on, man. We're supposed to be taking notes.
As
There
someone
is a
who
pop
plays-
quiz at the end of this presentation stream on everybody's streams, so.
Oh shit, can
I
we
hope
get a
you remember.
do-over?
I hope you remember all of Danganronpa's characters.
Chat asks, "What is D&D?"
I'm glad you asked, Josh.
Anyway, slide one.
All right. So then last we have Mud.
Yay.
Hey.
Oh.
Okay. Oh God. How do I show
I love
this?
that Trent and Dylan got a citation here. That's hilarious. Good job, Hannah.
Okay. This is. I want to prep. Oh fuck! I'm on the wrong slide. No one look at this. Shit.
Okay. I won't stream it. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready. I want to preface this by saying that I have shortened this so very much, and that there are no good pictures. As a treat. Anyways, I'm going to be covering season 1 of the Dream SMP, a not so brief summary of it. Dare I
wait.
say?
Hold on. The stream's not loading for me.
Okay.
Same.
Fuck. Oh God.
Are you still having that problem? Maybe.
Oh fuck. If I get kicked, I swear to God I'll lose it.
Here,
Wait.
send me the link to it, and I'll do the presentation, and you just tell me when to change slides.
Oh my God. Okay, I can't believe that happened. Okay.
It's okay.
You get a fancy assistant now, Mud.
I do. I'm
Just
gonna
like
put it
I
here.
did. It was great.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, I need permission.
Fuck. Oh my God.
I requested permission.
Okay, I'll go in my email. This isn't scuffed. I don't know.
Hey, there we go.
This is not it.
Okay.
Are you sure this isn't it?
That should be.
There we go. That's it.
Yay. Okay. So my not so
Oops.
brief summary of the Dream SMP.
Oops, sorry. Hold
Season
on.
1.
Hold on.
You're good.
Where is it? Where is it? Wait, hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. I figured it out. We're good now. Alright, now go on. Next slide. Mud.
What?
Mud.
Oh
What?
no.
Damn.
Oh no, what happened?
Oh no.
Do this one too, guys. Hold on, I got this.
Survival of the fittest, I guess.
Oh no, Mud.
What's happened?
This was happening before. Whenever they would try to stream video on Discord, it would kick them.
Oh no.
They'll be back in a second, I'm sure.
Discord just doesn't like them for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why that was happening.
Well, I guess it doesn't like me either.
Oh, yeah.
At least it doesn't hate me as much. For me, it's just
F's in the chat for Mud, please.
yeah.
F.
Big F.
F. Hello!
Hello.
You died!
Every single time I share a screen, I swear to God.
You've been reborn like the phoenix that you are.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
Alright.
Anyways, this is going great. Anyways. My not so brief summary of the Dream SMP season 1. I want to preface this by saying that we're gonna give a little exposition. First of all, the Minecraft Manhunt. It is basically created by what is known as the Dream Team, and basically the objective is to hunt down usually Dream, and basically before he can get to the end and defeat the Ender Dragon. It's very hype. I enjoyed a lot. But it also set the stage for a lot of Dream's fan base to come along, which allowed him to create the Dream SMP. Next slide. The Dream SMP. Dream SMP is an SMP with a lot of different creators on it. It originally started with a poll asking viewers of Dream what he should do for a milestone. And that ended up in him creating a small SMP consisting of him, Saptup, and George, to soon be joined by also Alyssa, who's no longer on the server. It was very tame and chill until British people came onto the server. Next slide. Dream. This is where I talk about some of the more notable people on the server who engage in roleplay. I'm not going to be covering everyone because otherwise we would be here for 10 hours. He does a lot of speedrunning on Minecraft. He created SMP, never really goes on. He's a side character in his own SMP. Fantastic. Has a rivalry with Technoblade, fellow Minecraft YouTuber. Not that bad at PvP, and is also known as part of the Dream Team, has not done a face reveal, and is in fact a Florida man, as one might guess, since, you know, he lives in Florida. Next slide. George not found. Didn't really watch him that much. Close friends with Stream and Sapnap. His channel really blew up because of Minecraft Manhunt and was the first hunter. Next slide. Sapnap, second hunter. He's a guy. I'll say that much. Is he a Hey Mama's guy? Yeah, a little, just perhaps. He's not a Florida man. I don't know why it says that. He's a Texas man though. So, you know, it's to be fair, he is in Florida right now though. So, you know, we can take a little bit of both, a little bit of both worlds, you know.
Well, technically, right now he's in the UK.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't know. I don't know why it just says he's pretty good. There was supposed to be more
He's
there.
pretty good. It's also pretty good.
You know, just in general, he's there. You know, he exists. He is pretty good. I can vouch. Next slide. And Frost, I don't know much about him. However, he is relevant to the Minecraft Manhunt series as he was the fourth hunter. It's a little chaotic as a treat. And that's all I know about him because I don't watch his streams either. Arid, I actually do watch his streams. I know, shocking. Does a ton of like stuff for like queer charities or just like in general. British. And he has just an army of, I want to say, flamingos and teddy bears, and I would in fact die for him, as I should, you know, and that's all. Wilbur Soot, he's allowed to be a little chaotic as a treat. He releases his own music. He's tall. I don't understand that. That scares me. And is part of Sleepy Boys Inc., which consists of him, Philza, which is spelled wrong, Technoblade, and Tommy in it. And gets a lot of noise complaints and has been kicked out of his office and probably will be in his next one, but that's okay. The tenants can cry about it. Philza, he has been streaming for so very long. He's best known for his hardcore series. He like really blew up when he died from a baby zombie in armor in his third series, or his third world, I believe. And the internet has deemed him as the internet dadza, as it is. Next slide. Tommy in it. He's 17 and he could probably kill me. He would probably maul me to death given the chance. And I don't put it against him. He's very loud. He has stolen Wilbur's wallet and broken into his office twice now. You know, as any well-adjusted person will. I'm not gonna explain the quote. You can figure that out for yourself. And he listens to a lot of good music, which I can definitely say, you know, as a non-biased source. Yeah, pretty good. Next slide. Tubbo, he's unhinged. I think he's allowed to be. He has his own music, which I like. He's a big old nerd, and me too. Very much into modded Minecraft, big Tekken fan, me too. And can play piano, very good, which scares me because I like music, but God is it hard. Next slide. Niachu, very cool. She's German. I also don't watch a ton of her content, but she's very good at building in Minecraft, and she's studying psychology. Next slide. Technoblade, you know, he's a guy. He, you know, dropped out of college to play Minecraft. He has, like, you know, a lot of streaks on Bed Wars, and he spent months destroying one kid in potato farming for months on end, because he wanted to be #1 on the leaderboard for Skyblock, and I think that's beautiful. All the Burnout, smart kids have adopted him as well, so he has an army of them, and, you know, good. Next slide. Quackity goes to law school, which is very scary. He has been on YouTube for so very long and has had a lot of variety in his career. Has done things from Toontown to Roblox to Minecraft, etc. Next slide. Purples, I also don't watch him a ton. He does a lot of Bed Wars. I think he's pretty funny. I respect him for it. And he's also serves as the local mercenary for the Dream SMP. Next slide. Awesome dude. Does a lot of redstone, which I don't understand for the life of me, but you know, get it. He always has materials, and he used to go around offering pumpkin pies to people, just, you know, for funsies, and he's also the final hunter in the Minecraft, Manhunt series. Next slide. Rambu. This is the last character, I promise. Used to brand himself as Walmart Technoblade, and first made a ton of content on TikTok until he blew up and started doing Twitch. He has a really good balance of chill and kind of chaotic energy in his streams, which I can appreciate. He's done ghost hunting, which has slightly become part of his brand, along with the Enderman from Minecraft. The entirety of it, all of them. Yeah. Next slide. The 3 live system. This is where we get into the nitty gritty of the stuff and where I nerd out about stuff. The 3 live system basically means that if you have a lore important death 3 times, then you are dead. You are probably turned into a ghost or you are just gone. There are only 2 people who are really exempt from this, kinda, which is Dream, who, as it is currently with the lore, only has 1 life left, and Phil's in Minecraft, who has only had 1 because, haha, does hardcore Minecraft, you're only allowed to have 1, which is the only reason, that is the only reason that is a thing, and I think that's beautiful. Next slide. The discs. This is where the lore starts. Tommy was invited to the server and grinded for like a ton of discs for a really long time. However, Dream kept on going over and tried to steal them a ton, which launched the disc war. A lot of these discs were stolen by multiple people, mainly Dream, one by Skeppy, and only 2 of them have survived, being Cat and Mellowhide, which is spelled wrong, but don't worry about it. They'll be important later, though. I promise. Next slide. To preface this, I also made this slide a long time ago, so, you know, the titles stay. The birth of a new nation. Wilbur gets onto the server and immediately creates the Hotog Dog van, which serves as, think Breaking Bad, you know, it serves as a way to cover up their drug operation, being Minecraft potions, which TOS can't get me. Tommy and Fundy agree to help Wilbur. However, Sapnap intervenes since he is, you know, as it turns out, the cop of the server. Because Sapnap, that's not supposed to say that. Because Lemanberg wanted to be created, there begins to be a lot of conflict and tension between both the nation and, you know, the Dream Team. Also, that creates conflict, and it's bad, and violence will soon ensue, I promise. Aaron also ends up joining the nation, being Lemanberg. Next slide. Revolution. A lot of Hamilton references are made at this point, which can get very dull, but it's okay. It's totally fine. Aaron and Fundy begin building walls for Lemanberg, being the name of the nation, so that they can protect themselves, and this leads to Dream brutally murdering Tubbo and Tommy, along with the Independence book being made. However, once Dream hears about this, he creates the Declaration of War, which he soon gives to Wilbur. Next slide. The Lemanberg War. This causes the first real instance of death to come around, because of, you know, war. It has a lot to do with, you know, the sort of preparations of what's soon to come, including the Dream Team proceeding to burn down the surrounding trees of Lemanberg and creating TNT cannons to launch at the Lemanberg walls, along with burning down Tubbo's house, which really sets the mood for battle. Next slide. Betrayal. As they begin to go to war, they start to fight a ton, but are beginning to lose. Eric claims that she has a secret weapon and leads the group to the final control room. As everyone gathers, Eric presses a button, releasing instant damage potions onto the people who she fought in the war with, killing them all in one instance, claiming that it was never meant to be, and that, you know, this bloodshed should not have to happen, despite, you know, literally killing all of her allies. Next slide. Wilbur agrees to discuss terms of surrender. Dream says that Lemanberg will no longer be able to claim its independence, and that if white flags aren't hung, then Lemanberg will explode. Wilbur calls the bluff. However, he didn't know that Lemanberg had already been laced with, you know, a lot of TNT, which ended up detonating right under the entirety of the land, which led to the Lemembergians hiding under a tiny little bunker for safety. Next slide. The duel. After discussing what could possibly happen, they realized that they were at a standstill. Nothing could happen. This ended up with Tommy declaring that he would like to have a duel with Dream. If he wins, then Lememberg will be safe, but if he loses, he will not have the independence. After this, they took 10 paces and then shot, and despite Tommy's fighting spirit, he ended up dying. Next slide. However, at the very end, Tommy agreed to give up both of his discs, Cat and Mellowhide, in order for Lememberg to be safe. Thus, the decree was signed, Lememberg was independent, and Wilbur declared himself president with Tommy as vice president and Tubbo as secretary of state. Also, Aerith is dubbed king of the Dream SMP and also is exiled from, Lememberg territory. Next slide. A new enemy. Tommy and Wilbur decide that they want to create, voter fraud, as one does. They decide to hold an election to show that they aren't corrupt. However, they aren't going to tell anyone about the entire election, meaning that no one would be able to stop them, and they would obviously win, because of default. However, they end up slipping and telling Quackity this, who ends up running against them, which they did not think was going to happen, but ended up happening. Next slide. On election day, tensions were still rising, and both parties, Wilbur's being Pog 2020 and Quackity's being Swag 2020, they were very, very aggressive in their arguments, and it was pretty swayed towards both ways. They didn't really know what was going to happen. However, Pog 2020 ended up getting Vicstar as a representative, supposedly, and also J-Schlatt. Next slide. J-Schlatt had been on the server before, but because Dream didn't really know him, he was just kicked. So the white listing, again, made everyone super surprised. Also, I think it's important to mention that for voting, this wasn't just an SMP thing. This was a forum that was launched on Twitter, and anyone could vote. Anyone. And the thing is, literal thousands of people ended up going on that it ended up crashing the site initially. So it was a lot. It was very chaotic. Next slide. J-Schlatt 2020. J-Schlatt had been whitelisted and was supposed to give a speech endorsing Pog 2020. However, when he got on stage, he announced that he was running. Just out of the blue. Everyone expected Pog 2020 to win. However, at the last minute, Quackity realized that he wouldn't have enough votes to probably win, so he decided to merge his votes with J-Schlatt, which is spelled incorrectly in that slide. Next slide. The final results. No one knew what was going to happen, so everyone found out all at the same time, including the people reading them. In fourth place was Fundy and Nikki, who decided to run despite having, no one really on their side. They got 9%, which is, 20,000 people. Third place was J-Schlatt, which got 16% of the votes, and then Swag 2020, who got 30, and then Pog 2020, which got 45. Which seems great until you realize that Quackity and Schlatt's votes were merged, which means that they won by literally 1%.
Gasp!
Yeah, I know, shocking. Next slide. As the first decree was made by J-Schlatt on stage, he said that Wilbur and Tommy were to be exiled from the land, and if anyone were to see them, then they should be killed. Seeing as that, they were in the land and right in front of everyone, they were immediately shot down. Wilbur was the only one to really die. However, it was still very high in tension, and Tubbo ended up becoming one of the main people in J-Schlatt's cabinet for tension reasons. Next slide. Pogtopia was created, which is a tiny little ravine as the sort of base of operations for Wilbur and Tommy, and they ended up DMing Techno on Twitter asking if they could help fight the war, to which it happens midstream. And Tebo agrees to also serve as a double agent for Pogtopia. Next slide. A new ruler. Schlatt says to everyone that he's going to tear down the L'Manberg walls and destroy the van, along with also raising taxes only on Nikki, who is the only remaining citizen of of all of L'Manberg. The walls are destroyed, and Will and Tommy go to sing the national anthem as they're being torn down. Schlatt joins VC with Fundy and Will, and Fundy says that his relationship with Will, who is canonically his father, I couldn't tell you why, but it is, for lore reasons. He says that they are only acquaintances. Next slide. As things are starting to brew more and Will's character is beginning to become more and more unhinged, Jay Schlatt says that he's going to be announcing a festival in honor of New L'Manberg, which he has dubbed Manberg. Will has been betrayed by everyone in his head, and he starts to question if he's really the villain, since the only thing that he could do to win back L'Manberg is to do a hostile takeover. And as it turns out, he says, no, I am the villain. I've decided. Which allows him to go completely batshit. And as Tommy tries to calm him down, he says, no. I've made a deal with Dream that, he's gonna lace L'Manberg, or Manberg as it is now, with TNT, so that I can be the only one who will truly be able to ever have it. Next slide. Dream claims that he is helping himself just get to his main goal, which is to reunite all of the SMP together. Because by blowing up L'Manberg, everyone else would have no other home to go to apart from his own land. And Will continues to just seep down into insanity, saying that this has made him ambitious. Tommy desperately wants him to stop, but it's not gonna happen. Definitely not gonna happen. Next slide. Tebo and Fundy end up building festival games for the attraction, making a dunk tank, a boxing ring, all that sort of stuff. Everyone assembles, and Tommy and Wilbur watch from afar. However, Tebo was said to say, now let the festivities begin, if Wilbur should blow up L'Manberg. He ends up saying this, however, Jay Schlatt announces he knows something that Tebo doesn't. Next slide. He announces that he's been aware that Tebo has been acting as a double agent, and that he plans to have a public execution to punish him, which was, in his mind, the entire point of the festival. Tebo, now trapped at stage, awaits his death by Jay Schlatt. However, Technoblade is called up to the stage by Schlatt. Hesitantly, Techno gets on stage and is ordered to murder Tebo. No one thought he was going to do it, since Techno was aligned with Pogtopia. However, he ends up shooting him with fireworks and kills him. As this is all happening, Wilbur tries to locate the button to blow up all the TNT, but he hit it too well and could not find it, literally. Next slide. After the festival, Quacky ends up joining Pogtopia because they got in a very heated argument, and Quackity says that he now wants to overthrow Jay Schlatt. However, after learning about the fact that L'Manberg was almost blown up, they decide to try to hold it off as long as possible, and Quacky very much agrees with this, planning it as a plan B for bomb. Next slide. As Wilbur threatens to go with plan B, Quackity decides to try to talk to Jay Schlatt into tricking him into handing over L'Manberg to him to then give to Wilbur. If the plan fails, they will go and blow up all of L'Manberg. However, all is going well, all is going great. However, Jay Schlatt sees through this and decides, no, it's not going to happen, leading to November 6th to happen. Next slide. Fundy appears in Pogtopia saying that he has also been working as a double agent, telling no one this, only until the last minute. He reveals that Shalat's greatest weakness right now is that he has been relying on protein supplements and vitamins from too much weightlifting, which has caused him to grow very frail and weak. Also, as canonically, Jay Shalat is an alcoholic, which really doesn't help his case in terms of overall health. Now knowing this, Pogtopia can now attack, leading to November 16th. Next slide. Winning back Lemberg. As everyone gathers to fight, Wilbur asks Dream asks Wilbur to join a private VC, and Dream tells Wilbur that Shalat is an idiot and that there's no chance that he's gonna win and that he is dying in the hot dog van. Everyone gathers inside to see the dying president speak his last words, and as he is dying, he proceeds to drink muscle milk, insult Fundy, and also insult Quacky for betraying him until he dies via Minecraft heart attack. As his final thing. That's how he dies, canonically. Next slide. As he passes, everyone gathers up to see who is going to get the presidency, since Wilbur says that he is going to hand it over to Tommy. However, as Tommy goes up to the podium, he announces that he doesn't really want it, so he's just going to give it to Tubbo, because he's still dealing with the disc war. As Tubbo goes up, though, to give his presidential speech, he is excited for this new era and excited that nothing has been blown up. However, as he's giving the speech, Wilbur is sneaking around to blow up all of Lemberg. Next slide. Fireworks can be heard in the distance as Wilbur recites to his stream how he is going to end it all and how his legacy will just be buried with Lemberg. However, as a shocking turn of events, Filza, who was not formally whitelisted, becomes whitelisted, joining Will's VC, telling him to not blow up everything. However, it's not enough, and Will blows up everything, and with that, ends up dying. Also, Techno spawns like 7 withers. Next slide. The aftermath is Aerith receives a redemption arc, and is allowed to rejoin Lemberg. Tubbo gathers Fundy, Quackity, Carl, and Tommy to begin discussing the reconstruction of Lemberg. Along with this, Filza is now whitelisted, obviously, and so is Connery Pants. Bad Boy Halo creates a nation called the Badlands, which is populated by only him and Antfrost. Quackity talks about rebuilding the White House, which was formerly a thing, and Captain Puffy also joins the server. And that is it, because it is very long, and that would be too much to say everything. So that is it. That is the end of the slide.
Alrighty. Hell yeah.
Yay.
Woo!
Clap.
We're gonna ignore all my dogs in the background.
You have a question from the chat.
They don't know how to shut up.
They're just giving a little clap too. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
We have a question from the chat.
Ooh.
If you could kill one Dream SMP person, who would it be?
I want to go off on a limb, and I'm gonna say Puns, who's not mentioned in this. I think it'd be funny. That's it.
That's
it.
a cop out. Who in the presentation would you have killed?
Who in the presentation would I have killed? I want to. Okay. I want to say George. I want to say George. I think it'd be funny.
George.
I think
You cut out.
if he just
George.
George not found. I think it'd be funny if he died. Just a little, as a treat.
I would like to point out that George wasn't mentioned in the lore because he slept through everything.
Yeah, that too. I didn't have enough time to get to that. I cut so much, dude. For reference, for chat, this was originally like 96 slides long until I realized, hey, maybe that's too much. So I didn't do that. I only did 44. Don't worry. Yeah.
Nice.
I have a question.
What is your question?
Mud, would you rather have unlimited bacon and no video games,
God.
or unlimited video games and no video games?
No. Here's the real question. Would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games, or games, unlimited games, but no games?
I'm gonna have to go with the second option if I'm being completely honest. I mean, I don't know what I would do without, I don't know what I'd do without it. So it's better to just have neither, at the end of the day. I don't think I could take having just, one over the other.
Good one.
It's the ultimate punishment.
I'm gonna take it one step further, and I'm gonna say exactly or.
Chat also wants to know with what Minecraft weapon would you kill George Not Found?
I want to say netherite. I want to say netherite hoe. Yo, let's go.
Thank you. Netherite hoe. That's perfect.
I think it'd be very snazzy of me. I would in fact enjoy it.
I was about to yell at Hannah for subbing to you first, but I realized that people literally can't sub to me yet.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It's so nice of you, Hannah.
But thank you so much.
Everybody cry
God.
right now. Cry.
And then we end the stream. We don't clap. We cry.
Oh my god. Everyone had such great presentations.
This is
That was
very
fun.
informative. I learned a lot of things today.
Me too.
What's your favorite thing?
Danganronpa
If you could
and
kill one thing that you learned, what would it be?
I can kill one thing.
Thank you.
Respectfully, the
childhood.
entirety of Sean's entire presentation. I feel like I will never recover from that moment.
Oh, that was
I thought it was a
amazing.
great presentation.
That was amazing.
Still think that was just a fever dream. Did that really happen? Did that really
I
happen?
feel like I would kill off my own presentation. I hated giving that analysis because I know how to
No, it was good.
No,
That was great. That was
I
good.
popped in exactly at the end, and all I heard was the Q&A and like about Hermione, and I thought it was beautiful.
Dude, you have to go back and watch the VOD.
I am.
See what became.
Shoot, could you do me a favor and post that picture of Chris Evans in the PowerPoint thing? Because I want to save that for future use.
And what? And what show?
In the PowerPoint chat.
I will. I definitely. I got you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you, dude. Don't worry. Yeah, no, but you definitely have to rewatch the VOD.
I am.
There you go.
Why'd you put survival of the fittest after I immediately died on Discord? Do you want to talk about that? Is it something you want to tell me, Shu?
I played the 5th.
Understandable.
Oh yeah, how does it feel to be a phoenix?
I feel enlightened and amazing. I'm glad the chat had my back. Love y'all to death. Thank you for the Fs. I really appreciate that today.
Speaking of dying.
Oh.
Well,
Well, what an exit.
I guess.
oh my god.
There you go. Oh, he's back.
A new phoenix.
Whoa. Oh my
whole
god,
new
I've been
phoenix.
overtaken.
But I have returned.
Oh my god, so many phoenixes here today. Oh my god.
Can I be Phoenix too?
I don't know. Can you?
I'm not gonna try because I'm scared of dying.
Oh, okay.
I can't die, as I am God, so...
Oh man, I wish I had that power.
I'm the one choosing who dies and not. In-game,
Oh,
I
shit.
don't wanna get Sid
In
banned.
game.
In-game. I don't want to get Sid banned.
You're a dungeon maestro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If there was one thing I could kill, it would be learning the backstory of that bubblegum girl from Danganronpa.
It wouldn't be the spoiler to the game you're about to play, Sean.
I glossed over that. I don't remember anything about it, so
Nice.
Oh my god.
I should have bailed on it in case I did actually read it, but I was just like the words were just coming in and out.
You didn't retain any of it.
No, I did not.
Well, that's
Something
fair.
about tournament, making a choice. I don't know.
I'll go back and rewatch the VOD and clip it and just send it to you 3 times.
So anyway, I do want to get the VOD to this.
Yeah, I think I am gonna post this if everyone is okay with that on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm chill with that.
Oh, yeah.
Would
you?
I know I'm immediately gonna rewatch
I'll
my
just let you post it.
presentation and see how I did.
I'm gonna do
On an outside point of view.
I'm gonna compare my mic, and I can't wait to see the part where I died. I'm really hyped for that. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh man, this is. Go on.
I'm gonna count how many times I hear the toilet flush in Sean.
Yeah, how did you do that? Like, I'm genuinely like, what?
I'm streaming from the bathroom.
Yeah, Sean's room is the bathroom.
My PC is in the bathtub right
It's
now with me.
Ultimate convenience.
He just lives there.
His roommates all have to shower and use the bathroom while he's in there on his laptop.
He sleeps in the bathtub. Sometimes I just like stand over him.
Well, the real question is, do you sleep in the bathtub or do you have like a bunk bed type situation? So as
I have like a
shower,
a hammock set up above the tub. So like
okay.
I climb up there. It's really close to the ceiling, so I feel like I'm like bundled up like a baby, you know?
Yeah. I get your entire prison. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so cozy.
If you die in the game, you die in the game.
Oh no.
All right.
Well, that was good stuff, guys.
It was. Thank you everyone for joining me. I really
Claps
appreciate
for
it.
everyone.
This was so much fun.
Everybody,
It was.
pat yourself in the back. Even you, chat. You deserve it.
Everyone did such an awesome job.
Oh, for real.
Yeah. Except you. You know who you are.
He's talking about Sean.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, thank you everyone again for participating in chat. Everyone for coming out. This was so much fucking fun. I loved this. This was great.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad I was invited too.
Maybe if you do it again, I'll know what I'm gonna do a PowerPoint on.
You know what I think you should present on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil
I
it in
do.
case you do it, but
I do now.
you sound so disheartened. All right. I'm going to end my stream here, so thank you everyone. And oh wait, I can raid someone.
I'm still
raids.
streaming on Discord. I didn't realize.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about raids. Oh my god.
You do that. I'm gonna
Yeah, who you gonna raid? Say who you gonna raid?
Okay.
Who are you gonna raid?
Ooh, that's a good
Yo,
question.
James, start streaming right now so I can raid you.
All right. Well. Oh my god. I have so many things open. I have so many things open on my computer right now.
Close them. Lamau?
This is why you need 6 monitors.
Oh my god.
If you don't have at least 6, you're doing it wrong. Simply get richer.
Exactly.
Instantly. Everyone can just choose to be rich, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna raid Ghost Cake. They're playing Genshin Impact right now.
Yay!
Oh. Alrighty. So I hope everyone has a great night. It's so much fun. Maybe someday we'll do this again because this was just a ton of fun.
But I have to figure out how to make my stream not die in that case.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, the lag was
skipped
so
frames
bad.
Detected 100%, dropped 66, skipped frames 100%.
Oh my god.
I was
It just alternates between those two. It just alternates between 166 every 2 minutes.
I was in Code's chat and like 10 minutes into Sean's stream, they were talking about my Tumblr presentation.
Yep.
Oh man.
That's the delay we're talking about. I think
Yeah, the delay is really bad.
Oh snap.
I think it just straight up crashed at this point.
Oh man.
So,
Your computer's chugging.
I don't know why that's happening. The only other time that happened was when I was also in a Discord call. For some reason, apparently Discord just doesn't like me streaming.
Oh, Discord's having problems with streaming, bro.
Me too. I need to figure out what is going on with mine, dude. That happens every time.